ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the set that you have all been waiting for. As we're getting ready now to bring you guys the grand final of the Masters of Steel Invitational here live in Denmark, Copenhagen.
The amount of times they've met, I feel like there've always been one of them or the other making it to the finals. And it's kind of interesting to see this kind of legendary duo because there's a lot of, behind the scenes banter. I mean, in front of the scenes banter. They talk to each other a lot. They smack talk a lot. And it's a lot of fun, but they're also fierce competitors. They have both prepared a lot for this moment here. Beasty does talk a lot of smack about MarineLord from time to time, but it seems, just clearly visible in the series count that MarineLord has had the better of the two of them in these matchups, and that is carried through in the game. So we'll see if Beasty's able to sort of return those fortunes here, and he was seeming confident in his draft. I'm assuming MarineLord equally confident in his, and here we are with game number 1 of our grand finals.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is here. We've all been waiting for it. Game number 1 in the grand finals here at the Masters of Steel Invitational live in Copenhagen. We've got Gentle Mates MarineLord in the color pink playing as the Ottomans here, opening us up with that beautiful military school. His opponent in the color yellow, it is going to be Beasty playing as the Zhuji's Legacy. Oh man, what a day. What a day to play some top-tier Age of Empires 4.
I know, I woke up this morning and it was just, excitement, excitement, excitement. Of course, I got a pastry from a Danish bakery, and then it was time to go. We've got this, a LAN event, we've got crazy stuff coming. It's best of 7.
Okay, I mean, I guess the most important thing right now is we gotta take a look at Beasty's Zhuji's one here, see where exactly are like the good spots here for the meditation garden. And there are some great spots out on the map, but we talked about this, Winston, out on the map that is not really realistic here for Beasty to really get to, as we do already have that first spearman in queue for free, courtesy of that military school.
Yeah, there's a chance, like you were saying, he might have to place that in his base, which would mean maybe the berries in the wood line, or, if MarineLord Spearman isn't in the right position, maybe Beasty does go for maybe a riskier thing. You can always juggle villager HP at this level. The players are quite confident enough in their ability to take some damage on villagers without losing them, but we've seen players risking it before and having, a difficult time with that. For example, I mean, we saw Beasty against Wham just yesterday. Beasty maybe feeling a little overconfident on that mountain clearing game and losing 2 vills, and Wham really executing well on that pressure. And who knows, maybe MarineLord could get lucky with the spear here and execute well and find himself up if Beasty does go for one of those, more aggressive positions that maybe should just be denied.
Now, Beasty has scouted the bottom side, so he knows exactly where his best spot for the meditation garden is. At the same time, though, it is going to be in his face. Oh, that is a horrible meditation garden, of course, when it comes to value, but it's a necessary one because, of course, as we mentioned, you don't really have the option of putting it anywhere outside of your base, as the Ottomans do start with that very early pressure here in MarineLord. His spearman, as he's only scouted the gold so far, is going to be moving towards that right now. I think if he scouted out the bottom side, he would just send the spearman over there just because that is a very juicy spot there for the Zhuji's Legacy in order to put a meditation garden. But now instead is going to be going straight over here to the gold spots out the position. And that's got to put a little smile on your face when you see, okay, my opponent's meditation garden actually isn't that valuable. And now the spearman also just being here. A lot of micro going on right now, back and forth, back and forth. He doesn't want to have all the villagers ganging up on that spearman. And this right now is just providing him a lot of value, meaning also that Beasty's Pro Scout play that we see oh so often from the Zhuji's Legacy could be a little bit delayed here.
Yeah, he might just have to rely on the income from the meditation gardens. But another valuable element of having these free spearmen coming in is they will deny this meditation garden just by standing here, right? They'll reduce that income, and the gold being the critical thing here, the lack of wood being notable, but the gold income being valuable means just taxes and very limited gold income could mean a rather delayed Prov Scouts, although I'm not convinced that's about to be the case.
MarineLord lost his spearman, actually.
Oh, wow.
Wait, he deleted that one? I think I heard the deletion sound earlier.
There's no kills.
Yeah, he deleted the spearman. I mean, there is destruction value. It's a spearman, so it doesn't count as a worker kill, but I think I heard the deletion sound. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but it looks like the spearman actually somehow lost his life. When Madras going up here, I don't really see a reason why he would have deleted that one, but we do have the next spearman now coming in. Maybe he got housed. Maybe he got housed. He thought, okay, I got a spearman too many. I'll just delete that one, and instead getting a villager out. That could certainly make sense here for MarineLord. Yeah, that's like the only reason that I could see there. And Beasty, he's gotten a lot.
Enough.
Yeah, he's got enough. He will be getting the taxation gold, and there we go. Shuji's legacy with the passive golden gun. Ooh, little bit bell ringing there. Does realize it in time.
Not the end
too
of
much
the
out
world.
of time. Yeah, it's always so dangerous when that bell suddenly gets rung and all your villagers just suddenly stop working. But yeah, quick reaction there. Villagers going back to work, and now we are going to be seeing that pro scout at play here.
Yeah, MarineLord taking the time to get some early eco upgrades too, before the Spahi really come out. It's interesting getting horticulture this early, but I guess it really does play well into the minaret. Yeah. It's solid.
Exactly, more
second stable and range already, so we're going to see heavy play into that Spahi. Of course, the military school will likely stay on Spahi as well. So looking forward to denying all of this pro scouting going on.
Yeah, and all the deer here from Beasty, they're all on the same side. So this is really like the only side that he can realistically have access to when it comes to the deer scouting. On MarineLord side as well, both of the deer are right next to each other, so that makes it relatively easy for him when it comes to defending, or rather delaying the pro scouts from coming in. We see the spearman now moving ahead, and yeah, Beasty as a reaction has to drop the deer there, at least for a little bit, but the first couple of deer will make their way over. First Vizier point coming in, and it looks like it is going to be Anatolian Hills being used here, so a lot of additional sheep getting spawned underneath the TC from MarineLord, and also boosting up the gold gather speed of his villagers.
Yeah, and we see these archers just rallying straight across the map, so this is going to be something where there's already quite a lot of spearmen, so just a single archer can't really deal with it. You'd think it'd be a counter, but they're pretty speedy spearmen, and they can just kind of run you down if you're not careful. So we're going to see once you get to 3 or 4 archers, that's really where it becomes difficult to defend this, and some early walling action from MarineLord protecting his own deer, potentially
so
just from this prof scouts.
It's such a valuable wall off here as well. Just with a little bit of a wood investment, like 100 wood investment, you're protecting all of your deer very effectively up against the scouts from your opponent, so you can't just run in, take them and run away. Beasty now getting his own Jugunu out onto the field. Jugunu doing a fantastic job against archers, and right now, Beasty, he's got the military advantage when it comes to just having the reinforcements on his side. MarineLord, he's going to have to bide his time a little bit. He won't be able to deny Beasty from getting in his own deer. The question is, can he get enough units out to pressure Beasty before he can hit that eventual castle age? Because that's when it starts becoming very difficult for Ottomans to catch up in the timing.
Yeah, and you mentioned earlier that, like, there are some advantages, right, for Ottomans, but I think this moment here is why a lot of the pros prefer Jushi, right? It's the deer are starting to come in, you have them on the mill, you have the food being supervised, and you can pump out units essentially like no other civ. I mean, maybe China, you know? But exactly, but these two here, Beasty's already got the tri-comp, he's got full production at each of his buildings, and this is where this military count can just kind of keep going up, and Ottomans aren't going to have a chance to really match this for a little bit more time. The mills tools take some time to work, and maybe even going to see a second range from MarineLord if he wants to play this in Feudal Age, and that's going to give Beasty, you know, that opportunity to either match that or just kind of take that timing and go to Castle Age with it.
I like what MarineLord has been doing so far, right? Like, he has been getting all the economy upgrades on his side, all the relevant ones at least, and behind this, he's just working on scaling a little bit more in the Feudal Age. He's also taking his time. We're only just now seeing the meta coming in, and once that meta arrives, that is going to be a lot of additional armor on the supply, but now we do see the first engagement coming in here. First couple of Jugunu taking some hits up against the archers. They're getting taken down to very low HP now. Now, the archers do have the benefit that they're a little bit faster than the Jugunu, but with the horsemen there as well, it's a lot of archers going down.
Yeah, BC's numbers are just so high. He kind of, I almost wonder if he was over committing to the spearmen, but it seems to have worked. He just sort of face tanked the archer damage, and now the horsemen have this window to deal their lethal damage. The Jugnu following behind.
Great micro though from MarineLord. He's able to keep the archers alive there for the most part, now reinforcing up with the meta. Still has archers alive, and Beasty cannot dive in much deeper.
Yeah, but this is that critical moment where MarineLord probably feels like he needed to add that second range. Can we see if he has that? And we'll see. Yeah, he's adding the second range now. He's feeling that pressure. He's feeling that need to commit, and this is where Beasty has that choice. Do I keep committing because I have initiative at this stage, or do I start to save and try and aim for Castle Age? We're seeing some early blacksmith upgrades make sense. Maybe this is going to be some more commitment to feudal. Stop making horsemen, though. No. He's got them.
Making one more, yeah.
They started queuing them up.
The thing as well with Shu's Legacy is that even after making this much military out on the map, you have a very quick transition into Castle Age. Now the spy out on the field, Beasty realized, okay, I can't just trickle my reinforcements over, is pulling a lot of them back over to his side. But a couple will get picked off. Main army still over on the side of Beasty though. And this is where you're in a very difficult spot as any infantry-based army out on the map. You don't have the mobility here. Beasty's army is a little bit trapped out on the map. He's lucky though that MarineLord actually doesn't have too competitive of an army to catch that off guard now.
Yeah, the spot he count is really what MarineLord is looking for. Once he gets enough to one-shot the archer with the archers on the spearmen, that's like good, right? But I think the spot he count, right, is really what matters. He's got 3 coming out soon. That's really going to be, you know, maybe 16 of them if there's not enough spears on the field, or when he could just maybe try and bulldoze a fight against spearmen.
What did he just redeem his Vizier point for? Is that second military school that he went for?
With sheep.
It was military campus. Okay, so he is just immediately went for the additional military school. So as soon as he gets the resource right, he will be able to place that. That'll probably only come into play, I want to say, like later down the line in like Castle Age. I don't think that's something that he can really reasonably invest into at the moment, as both players still investing into military. But I think now is the point in time, or soon is going to be the point in time, where Beasty will start glancing more and more towards that Castle Age up, as he did pull actually a lot of villagers over to gold. So definitely working on that next. MarineLord reinforcing with an outpost on the deer. That is going to be the target that Beasty is now going to be looking for here. But the military force from MarineLord, never underestimate the Sipahi in mass. They can even frontline against spearmen for a rather long time.
Yeah, and if you have a meta with them, they're going to do decently against the Zhugnu too. I mean, not just decently, they're going to absolutely crush them. But that meta armor is going to go a really long way here. But we'll see. There's a bit of dance back and forth. The threat here from Beasty is that he'll just torch down and focus on those deer, which MarineLord has pushed a lot of villagers to. But here's the engagement.
Lots of micro coming on both sides. Looks like a scout and a Sipahi did go down there. A couple of horsemen. The meta went down, you're right.
Meta went down, which is absolutely massive.
That is the most important unit here at the moment in the army from MarineLord. He needs that in order to be able to continuously frontline with the Sipahi up against the Zhugnu. It's getting rushed up right now. Should be back on the field very soon here. But in the meantime, these engagements, these back and forths here are very dangerous for MarineLord to take.
Yeah, he may have pushed out a little too far, Beasty. Considering the dive there, the Zhugnu count getting up 220. This is when they start to get into territory where they're just one-shotting everything on the field.
Matter is now back on the field, but Beasty able to get that timing, and now he's about to hit Castle Age. MarineLord, he probably needs another minute now in order to be able to click that. Mount Lu Academy getting rushed up by 8 villagers. These are Chinese, or rather Zhuji's legacy villagers as well. So the age up will be coming in very, very rapidly. Beasty not able to get towards the deer here from MarineLord. Actually finds his own scouts all taken down in a matter of seconds here, as the Sipahi do get the drop on them.
Small raid though coming in for Beasty around the south, it looks like. Not too much damage to be found there, as MarineLord has kind of wisely moved most of his economy north towards the walled section of his base. This Castle Age is in, and this is this a scary moment for MarineLord? He's 600 foot away from the age up himself.
There aren't a ton of armored units at the moment in for Beasty, so it's not like he can dive the TC continuously. We're seeing the first couple of knights in now, or rather going for another upgrade. There's a lot of villagers now moving over to gold, so very soon he will be able to flood out a couple of knights. Actually, interestingly enough, before the knights come out, looks like he wants to invest into relics out on the map. Yeah, knight once again gets cancelled. Instead, opts into those religious units, wants to get them in as quickly as possible. And look at this here. There's a little raiding force from Beasty going all the way around the base from MarineLord in order to find the villagers on the gold, on the second gold, as well as on the deer. And this is a trap that's going to hit MarineLord very, very shortly. He does have the outpost, so he does see this one coming.
This could be a decent amount of damage. MarineLord does have wheelbarrow, so he should be able to retreat with the majority of these villagers, but it will idle out that gold income for just a little bit of time, and that is quite annoying. Even the wood, which is one villager, but
very important as he's
being idled.
Yeah. this is very important, especially as you're aging up, right? Like, you want to get the technologies in as soon as that age up hits, and this delay now on the gold is going to impact him directly. He does have enough in order to be able to upgrade all of his units to veterancy immediately, but will have to wait a little bit more when it comes to those blacksmith upgrades. Looks like he's actually prioritizing the blacksmith upgrades even before the veterancy on the archers. So we are going to be getting the +2 defense upgrade here. That is going to be coming up next. Can he hold up against this, though? Beasty, he is now starting to continue to push in. Shuganu do frontline here now. There are enough archers, though, I want to say, that he should be able to trade out up against the spearmen. Lots of micro coming in. Vizier point being used as well. What is that one used for? I don't know yet.
Better get sniped again. This could be huge.
Spearman.
Armor's not in yet. The Zhugnu could have a field day against everything here. The villagers are idle. The horsemen, they looped back around. The Lancers are going to be showing up any moment now in the gap that this army has created.
There's only 7 Sipahi left at the same time. Archer's actually doing a decent job here up against a couple of Zhuganu left, and now Sipahi do frontline. Fortitude is getting activated. The first Lancer is making its way onto the field, though. Spearman once again getting sniped, and Beasty is slowly but surely getting pushed out of the base of MarineLord here. Is he able to weather the storm? He did manage to get 2 villager kills in. Veterancy on the Archers only just now going to be coming in. Still a couple of Lancers remaining, all low HP, though. Beasty getting the first relic in behind all of this. Does MarineLord have enough? No Knight in production at the moment from him, and he's finding himself just continuously still outmassed or under so much pressure until these archers aren't upgraded. He cancels the upgrade, he's going for Janissaries instead.
Yeah, interesting. A little bit of a tech switch here, but behind this, Beasty has even added in a monastery. He's starting to look at grabbing these relics, which, you know, indicates this wasn't that much of an all-in, right?
Yeah, this is probably just attacking from the second row there, up against the front line. Outpost will need to get evacuated.
Sneak away. Gold is under pressure. This is a lot of Lancers. The Janissaries not in position just yet.
Archers once again taking the shots up against the Zhuganu from Beasty, but the Archers are going down, and GG gets called! The damage that has been done, it's just too much. The pressure is too much, and game number 1 going over to Beasty here, winning the first game with the Zhuji's legacy up against the Ottomans.
Yeah, and that was an incredible performance, but how about Zhuji there, right? We've been seeing them have a stellar performance in this tournament so far, and Beasty showing why he favored it. And MarineLord opted not to ban that out, even though Beasty has not first pick, but he's played Zhuji in almost every series, I believe, if not every single series.
Every time he's gotten it, he's picked it for the very first game. And I gotta say, though, I'm very impressed with how MarineLord did there with the Ottomans, because in my honest opinion, I think this was just a matter of seconds. If he had managed to stabilize a little bit longer, waiting until those veterancy upgrades come in on the spy, because the fight had to be taken beforehand. If he just had the little bit of additional time there to get these upgrades in, that could have been a very, very different fight. We do actually see here, looking at the military value lead, he did have that value lead, but just the castle age timing there was a little bit too slow for him to be able to catch up with the upgrade speed from the Zhuji's legacy. It is not going to be Holy Island. Instead, we are actually going to be going over to Coastal Cliffs. And this is a matchup that we've seen again, like we've seen already so far in this tournament. It is going to be the Rus up against the Delhi Sultanate here. And Winston, we talked about this. Wham played this one up against BC. It was actually one of the first Rus victories here during this entire tournament.
Yeah, and you were talking about picking Holy Island here. And I was thinking about that in the draft strategically. If you know you're going to pick KT on Holy Island, do you need to pick it right away? Because I think there is kind of an offset to that, and it's maybe you save it for later when you have more information and force Beasty to maybe play a less optimal matchup, or maybe you want to just get the win now if you feel that you're that confident in the pick.
Exactly, there is a lot of strategic thinking behind that, but now it is time, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 2. Beasty already 1 point ahead now in this grand final set. Can MarineLord even out the series here in the second game, or can Beasty build up on his advantage? We do get the player POV here coming in on both sides, as both players, of course, scouting for those sheep very early on. It looks like MarineLord, oh my god, this hurts to see. MarineLord getting every single sheep right next to Beastyqt.
Yeah, and you know MarineLord's going to have a second scout out in just a moment to kind of sneak behind his own base and grab all the safe sheep. And that It's gonna hurt Beasty because sometimes if you're against a one scout civ, you can just kind of cut them off and go back behind their base, and doesn't look like that's gonna be an option here for Beasty as he's doubling back.
Oh, and MarineLord sees it as well. That is a horrific opening here at the moment for Beasty. It's always dangerous, right? Like in a game like Age of Empires 4, especially where there is a lot of RNG when it comes to the sheep. At the very least, I want to say it's not the end of the world, as the Delhi do have, of course, access to the better capacity, or rather the improved berry gathering as a civilization bonus. But Beasty, he really needs to find a couple of sheep now on the backside here of his own base. We do see that second scout actually from MarineLord going around the right-hand side. Oh,
yeah,
he wants
this
to...
could be a problem.
Yeah, and it was just such perfect scout movement here from MarineLord. He saw that Beasty walked all the way back and... now going for the right-hand side. Oh my god, this is so...
Oh no. And this is a tilter too. This is something that really throws you off your game when you see the opponent's scout again looping around your TC here with all of your sheep.
Yeah, he does see it now, and now this means that there's realistically no more sheep left that Beasty can get. Like, that is it. He's found 2 sheep.
Wow. 7 to 15. Really 2 to 10.
Yeah, it's gonna be like a 21 to 7 sheep difference there. That hurts a lot. Now, obviously, MarineLord, he's got better resource together other than sheep. He wants to go onto the deer, ideally. Beasty is really gonna have to focus on making sure that his berries are gonna be safe.
Well, there's still 2 sheep?
Yeah, but there's scouts on both sides. Like, there is no way that Beasty can get those in time. HF's now coming in on both sides. We are, of course, getting the Golden Gate and the Dome of the Faith here, respectively. But this is a very tough opener here now from Beasty. Very tough game to play out, of course. But he does have the deer in the back there on his own side. I think maybe at this point, that should be a resource that you might want to prioritize, just because, of course, your opponent, MarineLord, he is very much incentivized to... take those away from you with professional scouts. And yeah, so getting onto those earlier rather than later might be the best answer here for him.
But there's always a risk here. If you give up sort of that upper right-hand middle side by the trade post, there are essentially 3 deer packs. So if MarineLord is able to secure map control here on his second deer, that will lend itself very naturally to Beasty second. And so we could be seeing a massive swing in food if Beasty doesn't take map control and kind of earn that sacred site and hold it steadfast and even attempt to deny the second deer, which Delhi can do with the Ghazi.
Yeah, the Ghazi Raider definitely being, I want to say, like the main bread and butter here when it comes to the Delhi Sultanate army composition, usually in Feudal Age. MarineLord, of course, with the Rus, he does have access to those early knights. The main difference here, I want to say, when it comes to this matchup, when you compare it to, for example, the French, is that the Delhi Sultanate can, of course, heal their military units up with the scholars that they have access to in the Feudal Age. And French can typically heal up their units as well, or at least the knights with chivalry. That's just not something that Rus really have access to. And that's where you have to be so much more careful when it comes to Rus, just how you use your knights, because you can't take bad trades. If you take bad trades with your knights, you just don't have that option of healing them up, and your opponent can always just pull them back again. Pro Scouts now already being queued up by MarineLord. Such a good timing that the Rus can really go for here. And also being annoying with the Scouts in the meantime. Until that upgrade comes in, he is going to keep hitting that mining camp from Beasty here. Means that Beasty can't do any efficient force drop-offs. If he force drops the villagers onto the mining camp, he's going to start repairing it, and then he might get like to an uneven wood count that might hurt his production build-up when it comes to getting a production building in.
Well, it's really brutal when knights are raiding, and you want to shift-click, drop-off, run. They will instead repair. I think that's one of the kind of the sneaky hidden values of that.
Exactly.
And the mining camp, honestly, almost going down here. Of course, BC might just start to repair this in a minute, but we're going to see the first Ghazis coming out in just a moment, so they should be there to defend. But honestly, not bad for MarineLord to get that into the burning state. Just a little more to repair. Now, barracks opening, then the stable. Makes a lot of sense on the side of MarineLord. Going to be opening spear and some knights.
Most likely will be the choice here for him. Ghazi Raiders, of course. are going to be able to even take some fights up against the Knights. We mentioned earlier, no healing available to the Rus. In small numbers, I want to say, like when there's only like a couple of Knights, that's really where you have to be so careful as the Rus. You cannot take these straight up engagements, because the Ghazi Raiders, of course, with more movement speed, they can dictate when they want to take a fight out on the map. That's why the Spearmen are probably a lot more important here early on for MarineLord. And the Ghazi Raider
We'll
finds
find
the
this.
first couple of scouts there on the map, has to drop the deer.
I mean, I still love this from MarineLord. Starting with the riskier deer makes a lot of sense because, you know, there's a really good chance that Delhi, with that timing, will hit that sacred site and try and protect this area. So maybe just, you can see that grabbing a lot of his second pack first, and then he'll come back and secure his first, which is kind of much more comfortably behind his base.
We see Beasty behind us also prioritizing Pro Scout, of course, from his own mill as the second upgrade there. And yeah, we'll be getting that one in 2 minutes from now. So at the 8.5 minute mark, that's when we can really start seeing that as an option from the Delhi. Could actually be a little bit sooner as well, as he is, of course, still investing into scholars behind all of this, so might be able to rush the timing up a little bit more. Blacksmith upgrade now also going to be on the way soon. First couple of Spearmen are getting found out here, and this is the benefit that Delhi have. As long as the number mass isn't like that big right now, always having the option of healing the units up, but one of the Ghazi Raiders will get taken down. Not a good trade here. One Spearman for one Ghazi Raider. That is not what you want to see as the Delhi.
Yeah, a little bit of a missed micro there from Beasty, and MarineLord really capitalizing well with that kind of swoop around with the spears. He was able to kind of pick one off, and that looked really good for him. Like, if that's how this micro is going to go, Beasty might be in a bit of trouble, right? Because MarineLord, if he's playing sharp like this, which he has been all tournament, he just feels so unstoppable when you watch him play.
Yeah. We do see the Sacred Side capturing now coming into play here as well. First Knight is getting found out, and once again, early numbers. Knight cannot heal up. You got to be very careful with how you take these fights. You need the sufficient mass here, and every single one of these Ghazi hits hurts extra, because not only do Ghazi have more base damage than Horsemen, but they also do bonus damage to these heavily armored units. So this Knight really has to be so careful when he goes out onto the map. Looks like the Spearmen have been able to deter Beasty here from one of the sacred sites, but not for long though, as the archer reinforcements are coming in now as well.
And MarineLord now going to have to get into that state where you have to contest a lot on the map. We're getting to that point where it's basically a guaranteed outcome of every Delhi match, as the game just gets very hectic and chaotic with raids, healing, monks, scholars all over. Things get really crazy.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a war scout there, moving the deer onto the middle of the map there. Hopefully that one will get noticed here at some point in time. He would probably much rather... Yeah, there we go. He notices it. Brings the deer back home instead. More Knights now in queue as well from MarineLord. He's a little bit too far out on the map, though. Ghazi Raiders pouncing on his military force there. Spearman going back. Gets a nice brace off there. One of the Ghazi Raiders do get stunned in return.
Yeah, 5 archers, though, means that MarineLord is really going to have to take this engagement with some care. Several of the spearmen going down. One of the deer going back in with this prof scout. MarineLord maybe biting off a little too much here. Does manage to drop the deer, but still loses the scout. 9 scholars on the field, though. The protects, obviously, but, you know, this...
It's also the opportunity, of course, of being able to pull the scholars at any one point in time, healing up your units, but not just healing up your units, but also using them as a meat shield. Piety, of course, being an upgrade that is available to the Delhi Sultanate already in feudal age, meaning that these scholars, they don't take any bonus damage from any unit, and they have additional health. So it's very difficult to take them down, and they're a very good meat shield at the front line.
And this is, I think this is the most critical point of the match. This is the moment, I think, where Rus has been winning or losing games, is this choice now. Wham made the choice to commit to heavy feudal play in this moment in the game. He said, okay, I will make a second stable. I will continue to produce knights heavily. Will MarineLord do the same? He only has 4 knights on the field. He has 600 food. He's looking for that castle age. We just have not yet seen the castle age really be the answer for Rus in not only this matchup, but many of their matchups here. So could this be a moment where MarineLord sticks with what players have been doing, or is he going to do the adaptations that players have been winning with in this tournament?
Yeah, and he's been mostly investing into archers here, not that much into the knights, which is questionable because BC hasn't gotten even a single spearman out on the field. So just mass knights could have done a lot better here for him, and that's something that we did see Wham do, mostly investing into that mobile army, into the heavily armored knights there. in the fuel age. MarineLord still has a lot of resource that he can invest into these Knights, but the issue is every single minute here that is going on in the fuel age, Beasty has control over these sacred sites. He is pulling ahead further and further and further.
And some interesting decisions here being made. Can we just take a look at MarineLord's base, if you don't mind? Do we see a second stable? We see
only one stable here.
Only one stable.
3 Knights in queue.
Yeah, that could be a situation with 400 wood. Maybe it's just a lot's going on at the same time. Maybe this is intended, though. You don't want to overproduce. You want to keep maintaining your resources here because he could always cancel some and be much closer to that castle click if that is his intention. But both players now are on their way to full blacksmith. Of course, Beasty getting this for free but slow. But MarineLord has built his blacksmith and is starting to churn through those. With 26 archers on the field, though, he does start to pose a threat to these Ghazi. With enough of them, you get into really dangerous spots for them as long as you're able to maintain that front line. But are you convinced, Krakeny, that there's enough of a front line here for MarineLord without any spears to contend the Ghazi and only 6 knights?
MarineLord, of course, being such a great player when it comes to that Archer micro. We do call him the Archer Lord every now and then, of course, and he does have his way with winning fights that he might not even be supposed to win with just a big mass of archers, but we do see the engagement here. Ghazi frontline, the Knights doing a great job here opposing up against the Ghazi. We do have enough numbers now, and this fight, actually, I want to say, isn't too bad for MarineLord. He still has an even number of archers behind all of this, but most importantly, able to bring back the deer. That's another 1,000 food making its way over towards his base, and at a critical moment in time as well, I want to say, as even though MarineLord had so many sheep available to him, they do eventually run out, of course. Now also, he did earlier kill off that boar, will be able to move out onto that as well. That's a great food source to have. And look at the walls now, the massive walls from Beasty.
Whoa!
And he's just able to wall all of that off with his infantry mass forward here.
Yeah, but this is a critical moment. MarineLord is moving out on the map. These archers are caught against the forest. They could be caught here.
Beasty realized that immediately, though. He's going to send them back for the time being.
Interesting moment. Also, check out MarineLord's resources. This single stable has given him the resources he needs now. A second stable now built in the back, but he's still, at this point, able to age up to the castle age. The high trade house surely going to be the option. There's no amazing location for it, but that doesn't really matter. Players just want the deer. They want a little bit of gold from it as much as they can, and not the best, but it'll do,
it'll
right?
work. It'll work. The way that the scaling got changed in the high trade house means that these positional changes here aren't the worst at the end of the day. One of the boars does get evaporated as the deli do kill it. Probably one of the reasons why MarineLord want to instantly take down his boar, didn't want to risk it that Beasty might take that one down. We do now have the Delhi Pro Scouts also coming in, and Beasty, he managed to keep his entire deer stack alive the entire time, so MarineLord will not be able to Pro Scout that at any point in the game. MarineLord behind this does have enough resources in order to be able to immediately upgrade his archers, but Beasty following up with the House of Learning right behind him.
Check this out. Beasty has 19 scholars. These castle techs will race through, and he'll still be able to have some. I'm sure he'll have a couple of scholars on the map in position to snag relics. However, most of them are favoring this left side of the map where MarineLord's army is. It's going to be hard for Beasty, I think, to just snatch up all of the relics here as MarineLord is waiting for his vet upgrades.
Fortune coming in there for, look at the mass of scholars just chilling out there. They're out there reading books, you know, just waiting for Beasty to sacrifice them at the front lines or to send him out to the relics. He is sending them out now, but the army from MarineLord, it's in position, snipes out the first one. Archer upgrade coming in very shortly here. We're getting +2 upgrade as well. Only 1 minute for veterancy on Beasty's side. He's getting that upgrading quicker than MarineLord. And there we go.
Woodline. The woodline. The woodline. The woodline. The woodline for Beasty. He has no idea. He notices way too late. He was busy trying to trick with the Woolalo and loses so many villagers. This is a very critical moment. Look at his income. He only has 200 wood in the bank. What are his units or choices? He needs infrastructure. He needs more stuff to research all these techs. All of his buildings are busy researching. He doesn't have any unit production right now.
Yeah, we might be getting an elephant here soon in time for Beasty as well, but it's the gold that he needs for it, and the sacred sites look like they are going to be decapped here very shortly. Monastery coming up forward now from MarineLord. We're seeing an investment into crossbows as well. Beasty's got so much food, but he's not producing anything with it right now. He really wants to get that elephant from the looks of it, but now the Knights charging after the villagers and the archers with full upgrades. Looking strong here as well.
The villagers are going to get trapped. They're trying to loop around the back. Beasty's army has to come in, contend all of the archers. Some of them get caught on the mill for Beasty. That's a good thing, but for MarineLord, he will have to retreat. The army from Beasty in position. MarineLord prepping some crossbows for this first elephant that is now in queue.
Another relic is getting denied here. MarineLord on top of his game here, but look at this Beasty. He's now doing this every single time, sneaking some scholars around the side. MarineLord, he does notice it! He notices it! And that is going to be another scholar going down now. MarineLord, of course, with the outpost as well, having so much vision in this mid-map. He will not be caught off guard by Beasty here at all. And another one going down as well.
These scholars just are not able to bring the relics home. MarineLord already with 1, Beasty with 0. MarineLord showing that this castle time is still the way that Roos wins.
It is actually incredible just how active MarineLord is here. I feel like a lot of players, not just a lot of players, but like 99.9% of players would struggle so hard in this matchup up against the Delhi Sultan, especially when it comes to this castle age timing, when it comes to being able to make sure that your opponent doesn't just sneak off with all of the relics behind this. He is very active here. He has a very good unit mass. Now we're seeing an actual switch into horsemen as well behind this. Does probably anticipate that this is, of course, going to be a follow-up now into the crossbows as well. Does have his own crossbows ready up against these war elephants as well. First one is out on the map, and looks like we might be seeing a little bit of an army clash here. Beasty, he did grab the upgrade, the range upgrade from the House of Learning for his crossbows, so will have a little bit of an additional bonus there working for his archers and for his crossbows.
Yeah, 2 elephants now to lead the charge and buy time, but with 11 crossbows already on the field from MarineLord, there's a very good chance that MarineLord would be able to sort of micro this to his favor. He's trying to send some vills around the north side. The elephants lead the charge. This is a committed fight. They won't really have the time to retreat. MarineLord will simply kite them back. The crossbows take their shots. The knights, though, from MarineLord are starting to melt under the fire of the elephants. The Ghazi numbers coming down. Who could win this fight? The healing on the elephants keeps them up above half HP.
There are just more and more crossbows coming out from MarineLord. Not enough, though, to take down the elephants, but the front line from Beasty has been completely depleted. He's going to have to fall back for the time being. And MarineLord has gotten every single relic in the game up against the Delhi Sultanate. No sacred sites available to Beasty at all. He did just sneak out with a lot of villagers out to the berries of MarineLord, completely undetected there, taking away the food over there. But MarineLord, for the time being, he still has a good amount of food, of course, courtesy of that high trade house working for him. Some emplacements coming in as well for these wooden fortresses. It is up to Beasty right now to make an aggressive play to come back in this game, because right now MarineLord, he is very far ahead.
Check out the army value, though. These 2 elephants not going down, and another elephant in queue. There will soon be 4 on the field. The MarineLord, he might have more stuff, but the quality here is certainly in Beasty's control. And if Beasty is able to utilize his scholars to good effect in this fight, it could still be tricky for MarineLord, though.
Oh, MarineLord knows who he's up against. He knows that in this situation, Beasty typically loves to go for those keeps, so does send a couple of knights around the stone vein there. Wants to check out if there's any villagers there. Beasty, he was thinking about it, but did cancel that mining camp at that point in time. Knights still running around. Beasty, does he have to react to that? Now, do keep in mind, a lot of the army value here is, of course, also part of the scholars as well that are out on the field. MarineLord right now, just so many horsemen from him, up to 23 right now. Beasty, of course, with 5 elephants. That is still a very dangerous army to fight off against. Exchanges coming in. Archers and crossbows firing off against each other. Both players having a very even backline.
Yeah, but the fights are just going to go a little bit in favor of Delhi here, right? The extra range on some of the units and the scholar healing means that these little pokes and engages are slightly in favor of Beasty. We can see that in the destroyed value, up almost 1,000, but the raids continue. Those knights looped all the way around the base.
And there's some Ghazi Raiders who trying to defend a couple of archers as well. And by the same time, the fight is going on in the mid-map. War Elephants, weak one is being pulled back. Healing is coming in. First elephant now going down, though. Still 4 elephants remaining. Second one about to go down. Crossbows and archers firing onto those at the same time. 2 elephants going down, but the main backline from MarineLord is starting to falter. All the horsemen just died. We had 23 horsemen, and they all just evaporated in the blink of an eye up against the AoE damage from Beasty's War Elephants.
Yeah, he was able to take an elephant down, right? But was it enough to make that trade? Look at the trade value, the destroyed value, still just skyrocketing. And now look at the army value, almost doubling in favor of Beasty. Although, scholars.
Yeah, scholars, but still, that was such a good trade from Beasty here. And MarineLord, he has some troubles here. There's a lot of farms. Yeah, they're
to the middle of the map.
They're attackable. Behind this Beasty, this move, taking away the berries from MarineLord, could really hurt MarineLord in the next couple of minutes, because has he set up any farms out like inside of his base? He just ran out of the berries. He just now is going to move over to the berries at the top side. I just saw the hunting camp being placed there, villagers making their way across. He's going to find that these berries are pretty much already depleted in just a couple of seconds here. Wooden Fortress is going to go up, but there's nothing really to fight over.
Yeah, 26 crossbows on the field once again will prove potentially lethal to these War Elephants, but there's 5 War Elephants on the field. That is a massive number. A Tower Elephant.
So he's going to have a very strong backline there as well. If those archers or crossbows accidentally focus the tower, there's no damage coming in. He's pulled all of the scholars. All of the healing is here now at the front line. MarineLord, does he have enough against us? The War Elephants, they're still so strong. Crossbows trying their best to take them down. Horsemen trying to run past the War Elephants first. That War Elephant going down yet again. But still, these War Elephants, they can attack while moving as well. And MarineLord, it just feels like the backline, it's just not strong enough to take these elephants down.
Scholars, the elephants, the crossbows, is it all too much? One elephant, another one has gone down. Not much
the horsemen are gone
here though, Crackety.
All the horsemen are gone. Still 3 War Elephants remaining, and that last one just not going down here at all. MarineLord, he's trying to hold on. No food in the bank. The horsemen just not able to do a good enough of a job here. Behind this, looks like there were still a couple more raids, as MarineLord killed a total of 11 villagers here so far in this game. Right now, he's actually pushing Beasty back at the moment.
Yeah, the Wooden Fortress had a lot of value there. Something that MarineLord did, I think, was he targeted the Wooden Fortress onto one of the scholars in the back. And I think Beasty expected the scholars to A-move in and heal the elephants. But no, they all stopped to heal that one scholar over and over and over. And I think the scholars ended up being a little out of position, leading to 2 War Elephants just going down in that fight, which I don't think Beasty was expecting. Now, the addition of the mangonels, I think, is going to be key here in this next fight. We've seen twice now, the horsemen are not the answer to this mass from Beasty. Now, with the addition of mangonels, Beasty will have an answer to the crossbow mass, right?
Yes, and the forward villagers that Beasty had gathering the berries there earlier are now building that siege workshop. And with a single scholar inside, that siege workshop now counts as 2 immediately. 2 mangonels now out on the field. MarineLord, what is his army composition realistically going to be? Some more walls coming in now as well. This means that it's going to be so tough for MarineLord to try and fight around this. We're actually getting Boya's Fortitude in just now.
Have it though the whole time.
That hurts so much.
23 horsemen died, and then another 30 died.
Already 3 mangonels. Rams now coming as well. Tower Elephant at the front side there as well. Beasty's got every single upgrade in, but his food income basically non-existent. He's getting a lot of stone now in as well, and we know Beasty with that stone income, of course, getting in those keeps. Keep about to finish up now from MarineLord as well, and a ton of farms just went up behind this. Does he have enough of a time, though? Enough of a time window to
2 rams.
Horsemen again.
He wants to batter down this keep. He's not going to wait. He's not going to wait for the slow trebuchets. He's going to just send in rams, add them in with the elephants as a front line here, and maybe just go for a dive under this keep. Does that seem wise in this moment?
It's not just the rams. He didn't see the keep until now. Trebuchets getting mixed in now as well. I think this does hurt him a little bit, of course, that he didn't anticipate the keep being there. How do you anticipate it, right? And the trebuchet getting sniped immediately. Army just a little bit too far out of position. MarineLord getting a great and very important snipe there. These trebuchets, of course, being very expensive. 550 resources down the drain here. Beasty expanding onto the next stone vein. It's just going to try and get
being sent in without any support. The horsemen just having a field day, a raid as well on the far right. will dive deep into the reaches of Beasty's economy. MarineLord finding value everywhere with these raids. Already 12 Vil kills, more to come.
And these raids are so important for him right now. He needs to distract Beasty, but Beasty does not want to be distracted any longer as he is moving in
Full
now
commit.
with the entire military force.
This
More
could be it.
mangonels being committed to as well.
The mangonels, they're there. They're going to be the difference maker in this fight. We've seen the horsemen, only 14 of them on the field, many of them raiding. There's no real way for MarineLord to deal with the ranged mass.
He's got no food at all. Nothing left at all when it comes to
0 per minute.
This is all in from him right now. He is not thinking about a farm transition at all. We're seeing more, I want to say, Louis MT walls coming in forward as well. Wants to secure his siege. More raids coming in behind all of this. More horsemen being committed to MarineLord. He now has such a good food income as well, just continuously spamming out those horsemen. Yet those elephants remain though. We're seeing a big villager pull here now as well. Villagers being pulled forward. That's got to be a keep. I think he's going to pull a forward keep now.
He's going to be building a forward keep, and he's going to maybe try and go for landmarks. I think that might be the way in, because a lot of the economy is actually way to the left of this. Yeah, this position here, like all this farm transition, if MarineLord doesn't get this to pay off in time, it could be an issue, but I think it will. He's got 22 horsemen, and I think more could come in with his economy set up. Beasty, yeah, I mean, Beasty's like tapped though, right? He has no unit production whatsoever at this point. His army is simply stagnating. MarineLord still adding crossbows into the mix. This has to be a landmark snipe. Are we even going to see a Vil pull potential?
MarineLord, he's just going to go Imperial Age now behind this Beastyqt tower.
Beastyqt to save everything is so smart here. Beasty might be thinking that MarineLord is also trapped in the Castle Age because of all those horseman kills.
Exactly, but MarineLord with such a great food income now able to easily find his way out of Castle Age. Does he have enough gold though? Most importantly, will need some upgrades here. Question is, which one are you opting for? There are a lot of mangonels, so maybe opting for the elite horseman rather than the elite crossbowman could be a choice here for him. Or maybe just try and get like immediately 1 to 2 bombards in. We are seeing the crossbow upgrade coming in for him. Imperial upgrade, Imperial Age now.
Vil pull. MarineLord has a mangonel now, so the villager pull isn't really going to be all that effective with the mangonel able to just threaten to wallop all of them all at once when they
bombard. The bombards are going to be the game changer. If he's able to get 2 to 3 bombards, he's going to be able to start taking down all the siege here from Beasty as well as the elephants.
Beasty might be forced to commit all of his forces into the base, which is exactly what MarineLord wants, under the fire of the TC, these wooden fortresses, and notably, that's Beastyqt.
Beasty also has no gold income at the moment at all. All the gold only stemming from a single sacred site that one of his keeps protects here. And that, like, he can't invest. He's actually capped on the gold in order to make more trebuchets behind this, just barely getting enough in.
Oh, Beasty's looking to take a cheeky shot with the mangonel, but will he be met by the bombard? He's got Vils to repair against this. MarineLord forced to retreat even further. Maybe Beasty could even go in and hit the villagers that are repairing, but no, for the time being, he's just going to play safe. The bombard in position. A trebuchet could be taken out with the speed of this.
Beasty, he's constricting the wood line for MarineLord right now. MarineLord, he's got pretty much no access to wood at all at the moment. It means that he's also very much limited when it comes to being able to get these bombards out at all. He's only got a single one out at the moment. Doesn't even have enough wood for a horseman.
He's buying with the Golden Gate, surely, right?
Hasn't been yet.
Might be an important structure to take out, too, alongside the TC, but this bombard getting so much value, forcing Beasty also into these repairs. He does not have the best of economies either. The repairs, honestly, are going to add up. The bombard moving forward, under fire of the archers, potentially. Beasty looking for an angle here to take, potentially, a game-winning fight. The bombard now deciding to opt to fight fire on that keep.
Okay, suddenly MarineLord, he just exchanged it. Now he does have enough resource for 2 additional bombards, but he needs to wait for them. 2 landmarks. Actually, it's the last landmark that's available for him. This is it. It's
Beastyqt
tower, and there's a wood line between them. Beasty, does he know where the Beastyqt is? He knows. I think he knows.
Just gonna opt for...
He's shooting over the
at the Beastyqt.
This is it. MarineLord, he's got to commit.
He's missing.
No, he hit.
Are you sure?
He did hit.
Oh, he hit. Shots come through.
Going for it.
The repair bills.
Has so much health.
This is so tense. MarineLord pulling everything.
7 trebuchets doing their best here.
Are the scholars and elephants enough? Trebuchets
ranged
going
units,
down.
they're focusing them down.
The ranged units, they're taking out by the mangonels.
So many have been lost.
Beasty is doing it, though. I think he has enough units to hold this front line. Is the Beastyqt health still alive? 100 wood in the bank.
There's nothing left here for trebuchets still
The bombards!
remaining.
The bombards are targeting the trebuchets.
But only 13 villagers remaining. That's not enough to torch them down. Beastyqt tower.
So many villas getting pulled. The elephants moving.
What is this game number 2? Everything is happening now.
MarineLord only with villagers left. Only 25 units remain. The mangonels still remain uncontested on the field, taking everything out.
There's no wood left.
The trebuchets allowed to continue their supremacy here. A ton of wood being bought by the market, I suppose.
And now villagers getting pulled. No villagers left at all yet from Beasty, but there's still a Beastyqt tower hitting units here as well. The villagers running through, body blocking in the way though. Is this going to be enough? What a stressful game.
The bombards are still alive, dealing so much damage to these elephants as well.
There's no villagers left at all from Beasty. Doesn't have enough food to even make more villagers now.
Trebuchet
coming in.
The trebuchet shots.
Elephant. Is this enough? It might be enough.
MarineLord has 5 units on the field, and 2 of them are bombards. He's got nothing left. He's got just a few crossbows.
They're taking down the villagers, trying to repair
Villagers.
though.
He's just going for the dive.
Just a couple of crossbows remaining, and the trebuchets, they're still... The Beastyqt is burning now!
Beastyqt is burning!
Villagers getting evacuated. They're now repairing actively here. Bombards pulling forward. They gotta take them down. Nobody can produce anything now at this point in time.
He has to micro the trebs away from the bombards. They're coming forward now.
Oh my god.
A moment of respite for MarineLord. He buys a lot more wood. He's got 800 in the bank.
But the trebuchet is still firing behind this.
The economy counts.
8
population.
trebuchets.
The bombards are enough to
Only
do it.
thing left.
There's nothing left for Beasty. He's got 1 scholar, 1 archer. Tithe barns. The bombards. They're gonna do it.
Save the day.
Beasty ran out of steam.
And once that keep is down, MarineLord can pull the villagers to take down the trebuchets.
There's a single scholar. There's no villager for Beasty, no food to do anything. The scholar gonna be taking a dancing trip, and
There it
Beasty's
is.
going to have to resign in one of the most thrilling games of Age of Empires 4 ever witnessed.
Oh my god. Applause to these two players. What was that? Game number 2. MarineLord able to even out the series.
A shake of the head.
Man, what the game? What was that game? It's so amazing to see.
He did not expect it to be that close. That shake, you can see he's like, what was that? That was
What did I just witness?
That was crazy.
Oh my god.
My heart is racing a little bit. That was one of the most craziest games.
Yeah, MarineLord, he's gotta stretch the legs now a little bit after that one. That was thoroughly intense here.
Do you think it was a conscious decision to not do any food transition? Or do you think the plan was to all in here at some point?
I'm honestly unsure about that. Like, late game Delhi isn't bad after all, but Beasty consciously deciding not to go for it instead, like as you mentioned, the full-on, all-in commitment there for him. Maybe he thought he lost too many villagers in order to be really able to pay that off. Look at that military value lead there from Beasty with all of the scholars, with all of the siege that he invested into. But the economy count, it was just a little bit of a slide there down for both players, that both players just sacrificing all of their villagers in order to try and end the game there.
I don't know if I've ever seen a game like that where the player who wins has no military and the player who loses has no villagers. Well, no, I guess I've seen that. Yeah, but you know what I mean?
It's so rare. It's so rare.
It was a very weird situation. Seeing the bars look like something completely confusing had happened. And yes, a question mark indeed for that. Now, I really feel like a lot of this came down to MarineLord's raids just getting so much value. And we saw this as well with Wham. Although Wham did it with Knights. It just feels like these elephants lack the mobility. And if you're not able to put on the pressure right away, MarineLord just showed that having that ability to move around really can pick off the Delhi in this case. Maybe showing that Rus isn't dead yet.
Not dead yet, indeed, as the entire Rus win rate just got increased by 50%, or at least when it comes to the one game so far, going from 2 to 3 total throughout this entire tournament. And man, that was definitely a game for the ages. That has to be going down in history as one of the best, or rather most intense grand final games in Age of Empires 4. Absolutely amazing gameplay there, man.
MarineLord, though.
I
Has to be
hear.
confident with the 1-1 now.
Yeah, we can see the players typing away at their keyboards, hitting all of those buttons. That means that we are going to be jumping in to our game number 3 here very, very shortly. Even serious now. Anything goes in this grand final here. It is time, as we are going to be taking a look here at Gentlemate's MarineLord in the color pink, spawning in here on Frisian Marshes as the Japanese. Look at this beautiful map. We're getting a nice little pan view around it. His opponent, of course, in the color yellow. Yet again, it is going to be Beasty playing as the Byzantines here. And look at this opening, something that we've seen time and time again more recently. Not something that's really been too established in the meta quite yet, but that's finding more and more of a foothold. It is going to be that very early mill. Means that we're most likely, not just most likely, means that we're pretty much guaranteed to be seeing a Hippodrome build here coming in. And MarineLord not opting for the Dark Age barracks, but instead, as I alluded to earlier, actually going for that Dark Age pond expansion out onto these little shoreline fish.
Yeah, that's an interesting adaptation on the map for sure, something we've seen quite a few times at this point. Ooh, Beasty this time not going to be losing the sheep count. Keep in mind, that was a big factor in how long MarineLord was able to hold without the farm transition, or sorry, delay the farm transition. And now, I think back to Beasty versus Wham on his road to the grand finals here. This was another nail-biter of a game. This was their game 7 in the semis, and I'll be honest, there were a lot of moments where Beasty looked a bit shaky, right? Where Wham certainly looked like he maybe had the answer to Beasty's play on this map. Of course, Beasty now exchanging the French for the Byzantines.
I want to quickly pull your attention towards the berries here from Beasty, because he is very actively sending his villagers to the further away berry patches. Now, this is something that you would typically do when you expect your opponent to go for Dark Age aggression. Reason behind that being is that the closest berry patches are actually protected by the TC. That way you actually gather up enough olive oil, even if you are under harassment from Dark Age units, to be able to get your first mercenary batch out. Now, MarineLord, he doesn't go for any Dark Age aggression, so this actually does hurt Beasty a little bit, as in that he is getting very little efficiency when it comes to his food gathering there, as the villagers do have to walk quite a bit longer.
Yeah, I'm not actually sure if it leads to slightly delayed age up. It might actually be a little bit later here.
Yeah.
Surely just a little bit, but not sure how meaningful that is.
Berries aren't the greatest gather source. Now, sure, you do have the cistern bonus working there for you, but we do see how this all adds up, as Beasty does have a lot of gold, but not able to hit the age up quite yet. Will be coming in very shortly, though, as well. And there we go, now has enough resource. We will be seeing that Hippodrome now coming up there for villagers working on that. MarineLord not too far behind, though, but he does have a nice little 3 economy advantage here, as he did, of course, invest into that pond. And that now gets spotted out by Beasty. So now he knows, okay, my opponent does have an economic lead. What can I do to, you know, contest that? Do I just go for more cisterns, or do I go for aggression immediately with that Hippodrome?
Yeah, I would think at least one horseman to force the barracks, right? You at least want to force a little bit of a reaction. I don't know how heavy you would enter into that unless you really felt committed and wanted to add an archer behind that, and then a range behind that, and add some archers in on the Byzantine side. That could feel a little bit weird. Maybe just try and get a longbow pack out. That could be an answer to the spearmen as a response to the Hippodrome, which is certainly going to be the case, right? We're certainly going to see a barracks at some point from MarineLord.
Definitely have to. He's still got a lot of villagers on the gold, so not exactly sure if he... that's probably just going to be for... I'm not sure if he's going to just try and go for upgrades immediately, or whether he wants to make this a fast Castle Age gameplay now. Which would definitely make a lot of sense, right? Like, you do have access to those mounted samurai, which are just overall a great unit. And now that you know that your opponent is going for the Hippodrome, you don't have to be under that much threat when it comes to like mass mercenaries. But the first mercenary timing, notably, is actually going to be a lot quicker here for the Byzantines. So the first mercenaries are going to be coming out a lot quicker with this build, as Beasty already has enough olive oil to be able to queue up the first batch of mercenaries if he wanted to. Yeah,
and I would assume that's going to be Longpowman in this context. Of course, there are other options, but there's not really, you know, a super strong ranged unit just right away that you want to counter. We do see that instant queue up of the horse. Of course, that's going to be the play. The question is, how many cisterns do we go to? Are we actually going to see all 5 being prioritized early on in the feudal age? It can be quite expensive, and it really will delay the aggression. Not quite sure what BC is going to be thinking here.
When it comes to the decision-making, wait, that's a lot of villagers on stone. Is that going to be a second TC? Or maybe he's just trying... What MarineLord could be doing right now is he could be trying to rush the Daimyo. That way he could get an Uma Bannerman out. And that way, with the Uma Bannerman together with the damage upgrades, he would actually have competitive horsemen in the feudal age, even up against the Triumph horsemen from Beasty with the Byzantines. And indeed, it looks like that is going to be exactly what is coming in here. So after next villagers, that will be the Daimyo coming in here. We're seeing Tatara coming in as well. So nice play here from MarineLord. Means that he is actually going to have very competitive horsemen here in the feudal age up against the Triumph horsemen from Beasty. I want to quickly look 30 minutes ahead into the game. Can we quickly check out the neutral market out on the map there? See what kind of mercenaries are in there. Okay, we're seeing no camels here. This might actually be something where Beasty might want to go into javelin throwers, just because then you get access to camels, because the camels in the late game in Imperial Age provide you with the camel support, meaning that you do get the +2/+2 armor, which is very strong up against Japan. Basically means that Honor Bagasha are no option at all as soon as that comes in, but longbows are broken, so probably it's going to be longbows. There we go.
I actually really like how MarineLord played this. So he put a really heavy emphasis on mining, and he's just going to invest in some early upgrades, like you mentioned. I think that was all to just have the horsemen really have no option here. They have no. He's not on any of his minerals right now. He's just hanging out under his TC. I think that was a really smart play to just invest heavily and then evacuate as soon as the horsemen hit the field. And do have that first bannerman out, as is afforded to him by that
single knight. And look at what Beasty did. He expanded out to the second berries there, and that's exactly where the bannerman is going right now.
Yeah, could find some good damage here. Scouted already by MarineLord. Beasty's going to be forced to run. Wheelbarrow is in place, so he should be able to run away a little bit faster. We could even see Arcatoy Defense being activated, but not before. Oh, interesting play. Arcatoy
cannot up against the Uma Bannerman. The Uma Bannerman's too tanky.
He gets trapped. Almost. MarineLord able to sneak out just around the edge. Will pick off one Vil. Uma Bannerman at half HP will retreat. Could maybe commit for another Vil, yeah.
100%, he is going to go for it yet again, even with Acrotoid defense. The Uma Bannerman, of course, having more health even than a Feudal Age Knight, 230 compared to a normal Knight, which will only have 190. Does have a little bit less damage, but it's still a fully armored unit, even with deflective armor. So an incredible powerhouse to have here in the Feudal Age. And now Beasty finding himself a little bit on the back foot, pierced their armor, already researched from MarineLord behind all of this. So his units are also going to be very resistant up against the longbow archer fire here that has just come out from Beasty.
Yeah, some really early upgrades here from MarineLord will give him quite the edge in these fights, forcing Beasty maybe to use Triumph earlier than maybe he wants to. We'll see if he needs to. Currently, Horseman being the only unit on the field, I mean, you can really commit or not commit at will. We're seeing even more stone being mined. From MarineLord. What do you think that could be for?
I mean, this is also a great way for MarineLord to scale his own economy, of course, right? Like, you do have the ability as the Japanese to get some very early scaling bonuses there on your farms, and you do get very early farms thanks to the Kura Storehouse there as well. And also, of course, the opportunity with the second Daimyo to get even more Bannermen in. Like, right now it's only one Uma Bannerman, but imagine if there's 3 out there, just having even more Feudal Age Knights available to you. That's a very strong army that Beasty will need Limitani against, so a tech switch, or rather an army switch up, will definitely be needed here for him. Can we check Beasty's base house? Does he have any barracks being prepped up here now behind us? No barracks yet. We do see the 4th cistern coming in for him here, so it's going to be a 22% bonus economy there. MarineLord, though, with the first Daimyo, already on 20% there on the farms as well, and if he gets to the second level, that's going to be 40% farm income in the Feudal Age.
Some crazy stuff. Like, honestly, MarineLord's build seems really clean in the loop around the villagers. Unprotected. Beasty may have moved out a little too soon. He's going to have to lose so many villagers.
Beasty out of position with the military. So many units going down, so many villagers going down. This could just be GG, as he does lose 5 villagers in the blink of an eye. But it's not over yet, as more villagers are going down behind us. He tries to also go for the raid on the other side, but doesn't find nearly as many villagers. 8 villagers have been taken down. Beasty on 26 economy versus 38 from MarineLord. And now Beasty, he feels like he needs to commit, but he has less horsemen than MarineLord and many more in queue as well. The food income is simply missing behind us now. MarineLord is moving back to take the fight inside of his base.
Yeah, and Triumph's good. but it's not enough for Beasty to be triumphant in this match. We'll have to see, though. Maybe it will. He's going to take the engagement. The archers, the longbows, they're in the back. MarineLord with the surround.
Gets activated. He just runs away.
Just runs away. So smart. Why engage under it? I have the Uma forever. You have a limited duration triumph. And Limitani, going to be too little too late. Might not even make it across the map before Triumph, his duration is over.
And just like that, Beasty now, this is not even, I want to say, like, caught on the back foot. This is like the end of the line here for him in this game. MarineLord, look at the amount of food that he's got in the bank. Many more horsemen going to be coming out. It's trapped!
It's a trap! His army is trapped in the corner. This is going to be one last stand for Beasty. The horseman from MarineLord getting a full surround. Nowhere to escape. No Triumph to save you this time.
And they're just getting slaughtered now. The Uma Bannerman with the aura here. So much damage on these horsemen. Second melee damage upgrade has been researched as well. So right now these horsemen doing +4 damage. It's like they got Triumph on all the time. And the entire army from Beasty has just been wiped. Well, there are still 17 horsemen alive from MarineLord behind this. Only 5 Limitani inside the base of Beasty here. Not something that you can easily hold with. Now he is on Cistern level 5, but behind this MarineLord getting a market up as well. Will want to very quickly even out his economy to get to that castle age, as he does have so many resources there available to him behind this.
Yeah, and Beasty's trying to hold forward this position with just a few Limitani. I don't see a world in which MarineLord can't just avoid them and take a devastating raid approach. It looks like we do see that loop around with the majority of the forces of MarineLord probably going to find a way into the woodline or the gold or something else.
No villagers on the deer or anything like that, so no exposed economy. We do, of course, have the outpost there also working for MarineLord. Beasty is immediately trying to burn that one down. Only horsemen here at the moment. First couple Yumi archers are in queue. MarineLord, he's going to have to run away from the outpost, at least for a little bit. Has to evacuate the villagers there. First Yumi archer is getting sniped down now by the couple of horsemen from Beasty. We'll be able to take that one down, and the outpost has been taken down now as well. MarineLord not able to find that transition into Castle Age anytime soon. Cistern right now getting burned down by Beasty, but the age up is coming in. Enough trade out happened from the market. Will mean that MarineLord... Wait, did he build a second market? He built... Look at the... You know, why build one market when 2 market do job?
Sometimes you forget you built it in the heat of the moment, and the Limitani take an ill-advised trade against just so many of the horsemen, and Beasty resigns out of that one. MarineLord looked like he had the strategy.
Oh man, what a game, what a game. This one unfortunate raid catching Beasty off guard there. He did not see those horsemen running right past his army, courtesy of that stealth forest, of course, and that means that MarineLord just able to get so many villagers kills in at a crucial moment in time as well, right? When both players want to really ramp up their economy, want to get as many military forces out on the map. Beasty, without that food income that he needed to produce them, just wasn't able to keep up. Army forward as well, the catch around, and then without the triumph available there to him, meaning that MarineLord now able to take the lead in the series here in game number 3.
Yeah, still plenty of games to come, but let's take a look at this post game. I mean, it kind of shows the whole story right there. Beasty had a few units out early, but MarineLord able to kind of invest in the right things, the formula. He invested in all the things that would ensure he was able to win long-term in this feudal age, and we saw that heavy investment into the horsemen once all those minerals were mined out or retreated from, and that just really gave him a really solid position. That was, I think, a very well-executed build order for MarineLord. That looked
100%,
like super crisp.
Exactly, man. That early Uma Bannerman as well, just getting that first villager kill, really setting the pace here in this game. Then the second dive, killing so many villagers there. It was a great disparity there in the economy towards the end, and it just all compiled on top of each other. The Lombos also just not really working out there. I'm wondering, like, when you go for the Hippodrome, the Kashyyyks do kind of seem like a much better deal sometimes as well, because, of course, not only do you have more cavalry, of course, which do benefit from the Triumph ability there, it's an armored unit, which is great against the Uma Bannerman. But then again, Longbows in mass, we see it time and time again, where they just push through, even up against armored units, all the bonus damage. Such a great, unique unit to have, or rather a great, unique unit to share when you're the Byzantines.
Now, looking into Game 4, we do see an interesting matchup here. Mongols versus French on 4 lakes of all maps.
Mongols make sense. French on 4 lakes. That's oh, I know what he wanted to do. Maybe he wanted to throw away French against KT. Maybe he thought that KT would be coming in next year.
But
Actually, no.
KT
KT is
Holy Island.
Yeah, KT is definitely the Holy Island pick there.
I wouldn't be surprised if there is some very precise strategy here.
Yeah,
from
Beasty rates French highly in general, and even on water, I believe he said that they're actually quite decent nowadays. So could be something to do with that. Mongols, of course, they are. I always call Mongol like sort of a disruption style civilization because when you have a game plan, Mongols like to come in there and just disrupt that game plan.
I mean, French hasn't really been played on water maps since the spin to win. Realistically, right, in tournaments, seriously though, right? Like it hasn't been the favorite for a while.
Yeah, it changed a lot whenever the change was made, so that the dock also provides you with a little bit of bonus population space there as well. But it is, of course, like not the main civilizations that you pick here. But ladies and gentlemen, here we are now in game number 4, as we do have in the color pink Gentlemates MarineLord spawning in here now as the Mongols. Uwu already placed on the stone mine there. Beasty on his side as the French, he is not opting for an early dock instead. No, never mind, he did opt for a dock, but on top of that also invested into a mill and also getting an early wheelbarrow behind all of this as well. This is a very interesting build. Wait, how did he invest into... That is a very interesting build. He sent a couple of villagers out in order to have just enough gold. Actually, maybe just this one villager here to have just enough gold to be able to afford wheelbarrow as well.
That's what I was thinking. I was saying, Beasty's got to have cooked something up.
This is a macro build.
This is a reveal in the Grand Finals. He made it to the Grand Finals without showing this yet. So there's a good chance MarineLord has honestly no idea what Beasty's about to do. And honestly, I don't know if we really know exactly what the plan is outside of maybe just getting a really nice start here with this Dark Age.
The Khan laughing at the villager as he's shooting him in the back. At the same time, though, villager now laughing as he's just going to be killing a sheep in return.
The villager going to be low HP. This is obviously extremely important for Mongols. You know, if you ever get into a raiding force of a couple Mangudai, which we see a lot of players like to do, this is something that seems critical, is you have a lot of low HP villas. So this time spent with the Khan is time well spent when that villager might be low HP later and haphazardly sent to a woodline or a gold mine that the Mangudai just happened to be nearby.
All right, MarineLord, he now sees this play, though. He does spot out the mill, and if you just click the villagers, you will see, or rather you are able to tell by the stats that they have, by the movement speed that they have, that wheelbarrow has been researched. Question is, does MarineLord have the presence of mind to do that, click that villager and realize and rather take the, reach the correct conclusion from that? It's obviously very, very tough, but these players, they're at that level where all of these things definitely are required to a certain extent. Beasty at the moment does have, of course, the lead when it comes to the economy count here, courtesy of just being the French. And on top of that, of course, getting that dock up a little bit earlier as MarineLord, as the Mongols invested into the Uwu before the first dock. First couple of villagers now already moving out to gold as well from MarineLord. Might be a little bit early to go for 3 villagers on that, considering that I think he still has most villagers on wood, or did he pull them over to the sheep now? Yeah, he did actually pull a lot of villagers back over to sheep now underneath his DC. So it looks like he wants to rush the age up.
Yeah, it's an interesting build because, you know, historically Mongols played a lot of these hybrid maps by opening spears and just torching docks. And this is something that they've done for years. And maybe Beasty just kind of calling the bluff that, you know, Mongols don't do that anymore. They on some of these maps, especially 4 lakes, the meta has definitely been to open Mangudai and try and harass that way. And we'll see. I mean, I'm kind of wondering, you know, if MarineLord had just blindly gone spears in Dark Age, like how much of this is countered? Like the mill would get potentially killed. It would have been free bounty, right? The dock would have been too late.
Gold could have been denied.
The gold could be denied. Like there's a lot here that Mongols could have done, right? But Beasty understood the situation and chose to go into it. The real question for me is like, is this all worth it, right? As it's something that to me appears untested, but I'm assuming him and his practice partners have come to the conclusion that this has some real merit if he's willing to put his tournament on the line here in the Grand Finals.
Yeah, this macro build here, I want to say, like with the early wheelbarrow, it kind of has a little bit of a Spanish taste to it, I want to say. We do, of course, know that Vortex has been one of the practice partners of Beasty, and this is something that I would personally attribute to like being a Vortex-style build, really like just testing a lot of these certain like things, interesting mechanics that you can use with the civilization. Of course, French is a very unique one in this regard as well, with the bonus to that dock giving population space, not needing to immediately invest into that house, and of course getting the cheaper economy upgrades as well, going for that early wheelbarrow, as well as the cheaper drop-off buildings, just to be able to squeeze all of these things in together. And we're now getting the age up in on both sides. Deerstones, of course, makes a lot of sense here for MarineLord. Will be getting a lot more mobility on his infantry as well. With the MR.
Sheep with the bonk.
Another sheep getting taken down there. And now the School of Cavalry for Beasty. Definitely something that you also want to have, like especially when your opponent, as you mentioned earlier, has the ability to make those Mangudai. Getting a couple of horsemen out early and especially quickly can really help you avoid any early villager losses.
Yeah, I'm curious. Do you think it's... How important do you think it would be for Beasty to kind of wall the south right side of his base? Like, basically now.
It's nice to be able to go for that.
I feel like
a lot of opportunity to it.
Do we see a range from MarineLord?
Do we have any villagers moving out? Okay, we do have villagers here immediately prepping the archer range, so it looks like MarineLord is going to immediately be investing into some Mangudai there. Yeah. I would have actually more also, or just, maybe not more, but also expected him to set a villager over to his opponent's dock at this, or rather his opponent's pawn at this point in time. But it looks like both players just respecting their opponent's pawn, so to say, their personal space, and going for their own pawns instead. An outpost now coming up for Beasty, instead of opting for that wall, is going to be moving for an outpost here instead, in combination with a little wall there to constrict army movement around that gold vein.
Yeah, yeah, and there it is. That's exactly what I was just going to say. Oh, a small wall to the edge of the map to stop the Mangudai from doing that annoying loop, because it is almost inevitable that Beasty will need to move to this wood line later, because that front wood line, you can just send the Scouting Falcon over and the Mangudai can just pick them off. So he's taking the time now to chop as much of this as he can before he's forced to retreat from this, unless, of course, the Knight is able to successfully really deny that. But, I mean, it's Mangudai. Come on, at some point, they're going to be here. It's essentially inevitable.
Yeah, more walls now also going to be coming in here for Beasty, further just constricting that space. Little Sheep gets another boink on the head. The issue with Knights in this situation is that they aren't as fast as Horsemen, meaning that you don't really have the tools to be able to catch up to the Mangudai. And in return, that means that you can never really...
Oh, big hit!
Can never really engage him there, I want to say, but yeah, gets the charge connection in there. But he got the scout! Is that worth it, losing a Mangudai for it, though? He can just rebuild. Like, look at that, that's immediate, like, just rebuild the scout from a building that produced it faster as well. 19 seconds.
Yeah. It's not too bad, but it still adds up, I feel like.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah. And we see, yeah, and here's the Mangudai, and so I wonder how soon, like how long will Beasty just endure the pain here? We see the Falcon overhead giving those Mangudai the vision over that forest, which means there's going to be a lot of potential for arrows to sneak over on those low HP vills. The Knights, for now, will be the thing tanking that damage.
Yeah.
See, oh, look how serious MarineLord looks. He looks like he's here to win this game.
MarineLord is going to potentially find the first villager kill here. Not quite in range, though. Villager very low HP there. The Deerstones, slowly but surely, is moving forward here. So we'll be able to get that bonus movement speed
on low HP Vill.
To die very soon.
There's a low HP Vill right on the edge here. MarineLord's got to right-click it, potentially get a first blood. Not
quite.
Barely able. And now, once again, the Knights getting a nice charge in.
But the MarineLord did a great job there, blocking the charge with the Khan, getting the damage in on the unit that can regenerate itself. And now Beasty, as you mentioned earlier, forced to evacuate that wood line. That's a lot of idle time being cost here behind this MarineLord. He's floating a lot of food, so wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, he just pulled a lot of villagers over to gold that he will now want to maybe transition into Castle Age, or maybe the occasional Keswick could also be an option here for him as well.
Beasty, though, forever away, I feel like, from that Castle Age. Not a ton of food income. Felt like a lot of that harassment on the wood maybe added up, building the tower, building other stuff. This fish economy is not that effective, getting extended lines now as an attempt to build up, but I think on that northern pond, he really doesn't have all that many fishing. Yeah, just 3.
Yeah, it doesn't have a lot of fish there indeed, but Yeah, MarineLord is doing a great job there keeping up with the fishing economy, of course. When you're up against the French, you would kind of expect them to pull ahead when it comes to the overall economy count here, especially against the Mongols, which do have to build up the TC at the beginning. The first stock comes up a little bit later. But it's all just courtesy of these Mangudai causing so many different investments that you have to really go to in order to make sure that you don't lose out inside of your base on land. Namely, of course, you're having to go into those outposts, having to go into those walls, and of course having to make a lot of knights and make a lot of units as well, because right now MarineLord didn't invest nearly as much as Beasty did into the military.
Yeah, and a single Keshik on the field now, maybe marking a transition that MarineLord wants to take into some knights of his own. The gold getting idled out briefly as the single knight from Beasty has pulled the entire army of MarineLord to the south of the map.
Oh, this is...
gold idling out right now is actually
a big issue.
Pretty brutal.
Yeah, MarineLord, he doesn't have any blacksmith upgrades, so these Mangudai against the +1 armor here upgrade from Beasty, they can't really do a lot. The Deerstones has been pulled back, so it hasn't been found yet by Beasty. Doesn't mean that he's not going to be taking that down anytime soon, at least for the moment.
And, you know, we were just talking about how MarineLord looked like he was going to be faster to castle, but that investment in Keshiks and that delay on the gold, now it looks like Beasty is going to be the one with the faster castle age, potentially. His food income is good. He's got plenty of gold, even investing in some quote-unquote luxury techs like chivalry before castle age. Usually that would be too slow, but here, Deerstones, oh, sorry, getting placed out, I was like, how did he afford a landmark? That was just the landmark moving, though. My gosh. Oh, Beasty just noticed a hole in a wall from his own units. That's funny.
Yeah, it looks like the edge there, the column hasn't been placed, or rather he deleted it, and sometimes things work, sometimes they don't. Typically they're meant to connect to the wood line there. Looks like it didn't in this case. But now MarineLord pulling even more villagers over to gold. He knows, okay, I need that age up now as soon as possible. He's floating a lot of food behind this. And the Mangudai, we're seeing the first villager kill of the game now coming in.
Yeah, that wall's still not being done. Of course, it's tricky to do when there's Mangudai knocking on the front door, but Beasty going up with the guild hall in the very back, so not opting for the Royal Institute, which would give him access to chivalry, to Royal Bloodlines even earlier in the game, so maybe indicating that he's not going to be doing a super heavy Castle Age Knight play, although I kind of doubt that. I expect Knights to still be, or Royal Knights, sorry, to still be on the menu, as indeed he does queue up a few more, so Knight Archer, potentially just going to be a continued composition, maybe some Arbalist thrown in if there's too much heavy units from MarineLord, but MarineLord opting for a big investment into Keshik, and with veterancy, Keshik can be quite scary.
They can be, but you need such a big mass when you're up against those French Royal Knights. French Royal Knights, of course, just getting so many bonuses there as well. One of the... Another villager going down here, trying to build that wall. The Keshiks at the right place at the right point in time, able to find the villager pickoff there. At the same time, now MarineLord on two sides with two separate cavalry armies, just causing a lot of army move around there from Beasty. Beasty actually not respecting it as much, or rather trying to go for his own raids here, instead sending a couple of knights forward. We're getting some Springleton placements in as well, though. He is trying to charge over towards the gold vein there. We do have to step it out in now, but MarineLord, he's going to have to pull the villagers, does have wheelbarrow as well as the Yam Aura, so these villagers are moving at lightning speed here at the moment.
Yeah, Arbalist.
Army's running back.
Oh, straight to the Mangudai, but these Knights are going to get their upgrades pretty soon. +2 ranged armor is on the way. A bit of an odd pathing situation. Going to have to countercharge against the Mangudai. The reinforcing Keshiks from MarineLord going to be coming around as well, forcing the Knights back in. A lot of these Knights might go down just as they get their upgrades, unless BC is able to somehow intercept and save them with the rest of his army.
And Beasty did research chivalry, so if he was able to get these knights back, they could have been healed up back to full. Loses 3 there on the retreat, potentially 4 even. No, it looks like he is able to get enough distance now in between them. We're seeing some arbalistry and now also being massed up here now.
Raid on the goal.
Or Beasty, yeah, he really wants to harass Marine. Wait, no way.
Straight cog in it.
He's still making Keshiks though. That is a...
Still straight cock in it, question mark?
Yes, 100%. This,
yeah.
Like, what else?
I mean, obviously.
What else?
Right?
This macro, there's no other interpretation for it.
And taking any fight, taking any fight under all those Springle Towers on the main gold is going to be tricky, but that gold just ran out, which is a really key moment because now those villagers have to migrate.
Both the golds are next to the pond that he controls.
Oh, wow.
So you can get ships there in order to defend yourself, and he's already prepared the outpost there as well. This is going to be such a tough timing now for Beasty. He just lost the trade there with the military. He doesn't have the means really to take the engagement there. Also going for slow arballetria. This is going to be a great Imperial Age timing for MarineLord, one that Beasty does not have an immediate answer to.
Yeah, it's going to be a really tricky thing. Of course, there is a little bit of RNG with the Cognate Palace. You know, a Hui or two in the front could kill the momentum of MarineLord if Beasty counterattacks.
I've seen the quad Yu Pao RNG before, 4 times in a row. Maybe we can see the 5 Yu Pao
Another Hui.
It can really hurt you there, just getting Yu Paos instead of actual military units, of course. Beasty behind this is starting to collect some relics. MarineLord, he was quicker to the punch. They already had the first one collected, is now grabbing the second one as well. Tons of villagers out here on the bottom gold vein. Beasty, he knows that MarineLord just expired the first gold vein, so he knows that he can go for the next one, that he must be on another one there. He's going for mass horseman now as well. He knows that he needs mass. He knows what's coming.
Are you sure he knows? I feel like he would go a lot faster. He could just win a fight at that gold vein right now if he went, but instead he is dallying in the center of the field, waiting for MarineLord's next engagement. Now the Egypt comes in, and we'll see if Beasty commits to this fight. The Deerstone's just offering a really awkward unit to have to walk around. Will end up opting for Trap. I don't know if that's the most valuable use of time right now. MarineLord probably happy with that trade.
It's a good unit.
Going to be very useful against these these knights here.
But Beasty, he 100% saw this coming. If he just wanted to win fights, he would have kept investing into the Knights. But he knows that his opponent was about to age up to Imperial Age. That is the reason why he went for Horsemen instead. Because the Horsemen, they're a massable unit. And you just need mass when it comes to diving those outposts. MarineLord, though, he's also going for military ships or cannon ships here to further improve his survivability. Not in time, though. And that is going to be the first outpost here going down on the waterline.
Yeah, and you know, that cannon placement might finish and then immediately get denied, and it's a Hui Pao next. Exactly not what MarineLord needs. And even the dog might get denied before the Bao Chat comes out, or it could come out, oh no, it's going to come out just in time to defend this.
5 seconds left on
those crossbows need to run, Arbalists rather.
Cav Archers are out on the field now as well, though, and Beasty reinforcements are getting kind of caught out of position here, but we do see around potentially coming in here. MarineLord, though, he's the Mongols, he's got the mobile army, he's got the Khan there. Movement speed arrow potentially in there for him as well. Could maneuver away with those units. Couple Wallows coming in, trying to redirect their army here from MarineLord. He's trying to make his way out there. Beasty, some outposts there, securing the large gold vein in front of his base.
Yeah, but you're just running these units straight after Mangudai. Now, the Mangudai do not have that many upgrades, so they're kind of tickling the Horsemen and the Knights here. Beasty's macro behind this, not looking too shabby himself, up to 158 population. It's really going to take the Cognate to pump out a lot of valuable units for this to work. Now, another pack of Horse Archers means that a little bit awkward to micro alongside Mangudai because they have different goals in a fight, so it's going to put a little bit of a micro burden on MarineLord in these fights.
Look at this, MarineLord, the idle time cost on the gold here really hurting him hard. He has so much gold in the bank, but just so much food in the bank, just no gold to really spend it on. 2,000 food in the bank. The Yu Pao just came out. We aren't getting Cav Archers once again for him, so we'll be able to keep massing those units up. Impressive shot there from the Yu Pao, just barely missing some of those.
Get out of here. The Wee sends a little warning shot. He's like, next time I might hit.
Beasty behind this is actually going for his own age up now as well, and this could be a forward Red Palace to try and put more aggression on MarineLord. No, instead, it's still forward, but it is going to be early. We do have Yu Pao.
It's a Hui.
Oh, but we do also have a little bit of a potential army trade out here now, as MarineLord does spot this age up here.
Watch the flank. The Horsemen from the south coming in past the sacred site might catch the Horse Archers off guard, forcing MarineLord to retreat.
Yeah, Horsemen do get spotted. MarineLord trying to retreat in time here. Looks like he is going to get the retreat as well. Elite Keshiks, of course, not something that Beasty can immediately deal with, but he will soon have the answer as the Red Palace is going to finish up here. We do have some Palace Guards, and next up, the first patch of, or rather the first batch of Elite Mangudai will be hitting from MarineLord's base as well. And we are actually getting Biology in rather early. Honestly, I think that at this point in time, MarineLord, he just has to make the full pivot. I'm a big sucker when it comes to just making tons and tons of Mangudai as the Mongols in Imperial Age. It's one of those units that even with horsemen, cannot really be countered. It's one of those situations where the counter just doesn't quite counter enough, but the horsemen, they're in again!
The bow chad not going to be enough to deter Beasty this time. He's going to commit to the villagers, try and deny the gold. He knows he's played the strategy. He knows that this is the valuable thing. The Keshik raiding force forced away by the Knights and Arbalists.
Villagers trying
Villagers, so many going down. The trap in the surround is huge.
Palace guards at the same time also getting distracted. Yu Pao getting sniped out there, as well as even more horsemen flooding around the base here from MarineLord. Villagers going down left, right, front, and center, and the horsemen yet again circling
under the
around
wood.
the base.
Under the oh,
no villagers found there though. There
the
was
wood's
no
gone.
villagers.
That was the buildings baited me. I thought he was about to get a huge raid again. MarineLord, though, now routing his army around the north side of Beasty's base, going to try and take out the docks, which would cut off critical food income. Now, there is a dock way on the left, and that might be missed.
Ooh, taking down a lot of the fishing economy there as well, so getting some economy damage there as well, and taking down the dock. There is another dock up, or rather at least another, yeah, the left side there is another dock right there that you can invest into. Beasty now also investing into his own carrack here, so we'll be getting a bombard ship as well.
How many fishing boats are about to... Actually, there's another dock way on the the right side, too, of that
It's just being built. It's just not up yet, but we'll be able to
secure
the food income there, but there is going to be
There's an army coming, too, though, to defend that.
Yeah.
Oh, a carrack of Beasty's own to take some pot shots. Not the most impressive damage there, but...
yeah,
gets the job done, I suppose.
does deter the army there for sure. We're now seeing the first nest of beasts coming in for MarineLord, and this is where it starts getting very dangerous. Look at this Palace Guard army that he's got here. Is this Mongols or is this Chinese now?
I mean, look at Beasty's population as well.
Both players
the
are getting
Cognitive
very
Palace is churning out units left and right, but MarineLord really struggling to create and produce villagers and units of his own, it seems. Just a horseman, 21 Keshik on the field.
Having a rough time catching up to the technology, right? Like, he got the Imperial Age very early on, but just doesn't have the gold to get all of these upgrades. And Beasty at 1,600 gold per minute, MarineLord only at roughly 800. Then that is with the step redoubt.
Oh, leading him into the Arbaletria, which are going to have a devastating impact on this Keshik fight.
Yeah. 100%, the Arbaletria, just such a potent unit there. We don't have Gambesons yet, but that is coming in here very shortly. Still raids going on, the Keshiks running around trying to find more value here and there. Do I allow a couple of villagers? But yeah, MarineLord, he just doesn't have any economy upgrades at all behind this.
Potential for a big pincer in the north, as well as there's 3 armies surrounding this raiding force. Well, raiding force, large army of MarineLord. You can see this small group of horsemen could be enough to deter the pathing here, at least force a really awkward engagement. The Keshik peel off to try and countercharge the horsemen in the back, though, and the Mangudai
Great
forced
micro
to
by
retreat.
MarineLord. Just inching past there between the stone outcropping. Able to get the Cav Archers out alive, and the Keshiks will be able to buy enough space there for them to get out. Behind this now, more and more horsemen also being messed into by MarineLord, and now another Yu Pao. That is something that he could actually use.
Yeah, and Royal Bloodline's coming in. He didn't have it this whole time because he has the Guildhall instead of the Royal Institute. Could we actually check the Guildhall? Is there like some sort of bank here that we're missing? Okay, it's being used relatively actively, but you have to say, though, I think Beasty has survived that initial Cognate onslaught very well, right?
I think we haven't gotten to the main strengths yet of Mongols, which I really consider just
hand
being
cannon?
that, not really the hand cannons, but just being that continuous mass that you have all the time. But the nice raid here, but there's so many cannons here. Villagers are going to survive here for the most part, but mostly just getting those mass of upgrades there on the Cavalry Archers. The Cavalry Archers in general, just such a great unit to get upgrades in on. And the Mangudai, once you get all the upgrades in on them, they absolutely destroy Arbaletria, they destroy horsemen. They can never really catch up to them underneath the Yam or a movement speed as well. Ooh, a lot more horsemen did just get pulled, but are going to find bombard and placement outposts. Take them down quickly, though. That's a big investment.
Yeah, good pickup with just a couple horsemen, something that Beasty can make quite a lot of at this stage of the game. The Keshiks and hand cannons, though, hot in pursuit, forcing this little raiding force away. However, this counterattack looking good for MarineLord. It's a large army. Royal Bloodlines not in yet, something that Beasty will absolutely need for this next fight.
A large gold vein in the middle of the map. Might not be lasting forever, of course, so something to definitely keep an eye out for. MarineLord, he's got the military lead when it comes to numbers. Army value, though, looking up for Beasty at the moment.
Engagement in the center looks to be just like a small skirmish of the cavalry. And now MarineLord's forces slightly bogged down with the palace guards and the hand cannons kind of taking to the center of the field. It means that now we're maybe building up towards just a big, straight-up engagement here as a Hui Pao potentially going to force the issue on Beasty, force him out of this defensive hold that he's had, and push him into this devastating Mongol army at this point.
Some stone walls now also coming in here from Beasty. Will be able to further secure up that red palace. It's going to make it very difficult for MarineLord to get any raids in from the bottom side. The Horseman mass does get spotted out here, the Uwu. It's not really active right now. The Stone Vein has been finished off behind this. Army just maneuvering around right now. We do have that Hui Pao, of course, continuously harassing that keep there. The one outpost now also providing all of these units from MarineLord with the additional movement speed that he critically needs in order to be able to keep up there. A couple of horsemen causing a lot of idle time there on village, but at the same time also a little raid there with the elite knights. MarineLord immediate reaction though, able to pull the villagers away. Some will go down, but it's a price he's willing to pay.
Yeah, the villagers kind of in an awkward position for Beasty in that picture-in-picture on the bottom left of your screen there. The fight for Beasty, he's trying to find a way to maneuver around this Hui Pao, is adding a Royal Cannon as a potential option. We're even seeing Silk Bowstrings now being the addition, trying to build up some archers as maybe a more cost-efficient way to deal range damage in this late game.
Yeah, more keeps going up now, trying to secure those sacred sites. Of course, Monk also moving out to try and capture that one. Beasty doing a great job of just keeping MarineLord on the move here the entire time. Separate out, of course, giving a lot of gold over to MarineLord, but as the map gets exhausted of resources further and further, Beasty, who's just placing keep after keep after keep here, is getting a lot more value in.
We're hitting a critical moment, though, where the food income from the water isn't going to be that good. And I just noticed something. MarineLord hasn't built a single pasture yet. And I would assume...
He's got a few.
He's got a few? Are you sure?
Yeah, he's got a few, and they're also around a monastery.
Okay. Oh, okay. Using the upgrades. Okay. Makes sense. I didn't quite see those myself, but that's crazy. Okay, so Doc getting taken out. Horseman raid just kind of being annoying and buying a lot of time for BC to take both of the central sacred sites.
Oh, there aren't any more docks actually on the bottom pond. MarineLord's going to have to rebuild one, but there we go. There are some pastures there.
Yeah.
Working for him.
And another cannon being added, so pretty soon Beasty might be trying to put together a little bit of a push here down the center of the field. Maybe not quite sure what defense you're going to hit from the Mongols. You're going to have to make it all the way to the base before you really have a ton of value there. Maybe just using it against the Hui if you get the right position, but the Hui has so much range.
The Hui has been taken down, the one that MarineLord had, so that's not going to be an option for him. We don't have any boiling oil, so MarineLord, he's thinking of just burning this keep down where it stands right away. Beasty, army's a little bit out of position, also a little bit slow. These Arbaletria, they're not getting paid for walking. We'll take that keep down in just a matter of seconds here.
I'm waiting for one of these players to just hard commit to one of these fights. So far, it's been a lot of dancing back and forth. MarineLord not really confident enough yet in his advantage to take the full fight against the Arbalist, but now he's going for the surround on the north, on the south. He's going to get a full trap. Who will win?
We do have the full surround, and the Horsemen, they're attacking onto the very, very fragile backline here. The Arbaletria just completely surrounded. They activated their Pavisa as well, so do have those shields in front, but that is just not going to be enough up against the mass of cavalry here from MarineLord. Beasty, he's got nothing in the food bank, nothing in the reserve. He's pumping out non-stop Horsemen and Arbaletria, but his entire army has just been extinguished.
What a beautiful fight from MarineLord. He was able to find the army finally pushed out too far into a position that MarineLord felt comfortable. Beasty has been committing so many of his resources to this raid, but to what avail? Just to kill a couple vills here and there. Mongols don't care when their main food is on the sea. When they're gold, he's been able to keep it relatively safe from time to time. And now what? Now what for Beasty? No Royal Knights on the field, one in queue, but what's it really going to do at this point? It seems a little too late.
He's got a ton of gold. He just pulled the gold away from the guild hall.
Supposedly.
The issue with that is, though, that now he doesn't have the food in order to really get those knights going.
Yeah,
MarineLord, he's just sending it full on into the base of Beasty now, burning down house after house after house. Beasty, he is no longer at max population now as well, so this is really damage done here. On top of that, Bounty, of course, also always helping out MarineLord. More farms going up here. Actually, does Beasty have any production buildings around these keeps? I think a lot of the production buildings from him are not buffed up by the keep influence from the French.
MarineLord backing up from a situation in which I felt potentially he could have just steamrolled this whole base. Maybe one of the signature moves of MarineLord is to play a little bit safe and really make sure he has the lead and control, and he doesn't want to give away control by throwing the lead, so props to him for that patience. But, I mean, Beasty's base was wide open.
It was, and right now he's finding the villagers here on the stone outcropping.
They're going to get spotted by this small force.
Will be pulling them back in time. Arbaletria here now in the front, but honestly, that's not really where they want to be at the moment. A couple of villagers do get picked off here yet again by Beasty, but the army, it's out of position yet again. The Arbaletria just getting completely surrounded. Are they able to make their way through? They're able to mostly make their way through past the gate, buying themselves some crucial seconds here. Is MarineLord going to push this one in further, though? Past the gate doesn't look quite like it. Beasty for the moment is able to hold here. Never mind, he's just pushing through the gate, immediately collapses now. And the one cannon is now getting taken down as well. All the military forces from Beasty yet again have been thwarted. He does have the Red Palace emplacements, of course, on the TC, on the keep, but is that enough? MarineLord, he doesn't have any siege, but he still has been doing so much economy and infrastructure damage here to Beasty on the side.
Yeah, it's just the military for Beasty just isn't there. The production just has not been there. He's desperately trying to build another army to defend. MarineLord once again just backs off and is going to opt for, that trade was great for me, the next one will be even better, and then the next one will be even better, as long as I don't throw. And here we see now a swing down to the south side where Beasty just has so much stuff. I think a lot of his stables and farms are down here, right?
That's or just keep, farms? Yeah, he does have a lot of farms down here, and this keep, where again, no boiling oil means that it's getting taken down very, very quickly here. Villagers evacuating, but noticing, okay, this keep is not the safe space that I want. Has to pull them over to the other direction. That's a ton of farms not being idled up, but not just a ton of farms being idled up, but that's also a ton of resources going over to MarineLord as he starts torching every single one of these farms. He's got the stone upgrade, plus 75 stone. Look at the stone count from MarineLord, 600, 750 stone. He's getting infinite stone here out of Beasty's destroyed farms.
Yeah, and that feels like MarineLord just really doing everything he can here to secure this game as cleanly as possible. This has been robotic. This has been impressive stuff from MarineLord here, just handling all these raids with ease and just dealing with the army. Every time Beasty moves out, just immediately pushed back in devastating fashion.
Yeah, now Pax Mongolia also coming in for MarineLord, meaning that these weak outposts from the Mongols getting so much more HP and most importantly some fire armor now as well. I mean, they'll resist the damage from Beasty's mass cavalry here, mass torches, a lot easier. Military count Beasty has been able to get some more units out onto the field now. Look at these beautiful outposts now. They're looking very pretty.
Indeed, and cannon emplacements on them, and now
mangonels.
Oh, an interesting change up from Beasty is adding those mangonels, adding a bit of siege to help deal with the forces of MarineLord, but it feels like, honestly, 53 horsemen on the field. It feels like the horsemen have been just doing wonders for MarineLord, and Beasty now has 12 knights to try and deal with this and a horseman army of his own, but I feel like MarineLord's army is just so strong in all of these fights.
They definitely are, and this is an issue. MarineLord now also investing into his own trebuchets here as well. Not even going for bombards, granted, they are quite expensive, and gold is running kind of low for both of these players at this point in time, at least gold accesses. I think MarineLord just now securing finally the gold vein here at the top side. We'll be getting some more in here soon now. Beasty still defending around all of these keeps that he's been rebuilding time and time and time again. Looks like MarineLord now opting for a little bit more of a static push, glued to that 200 population though. There we go, these outposts now a lot tougher to take down. These couple knights here will be getting absolutely butchered now by these cannon placements, courtesy of all the farms burned earlier by MarineLord.
Yeah, and there's going to need to be some sort of push there with siege to actually deal with that, which is really annoying because Beasty had, well, annoying for Beasty because he had been intending to just keep raiding that position with the cavalry, but MarineLord wisely adapting to these raids. Oh.
And MarineLord diving the Red Palace here, just going straight for it.
There's no one
villagers
nearby.
Inside. And that's the Red Palace getting taken down very, very quickly. Beasty villagers nearby.
I see. He's retreating straight up. Doesn't want to get
getting
flanked.
Caught out. The units are still in range of the Red Palace here. A lot of damage coming in. This is the best fight that Beasty can theoretically take. Mangonaut's not in position yet though. Horsemen diving onto the back. They're going onto the hand cannoneers.
The Knights are holding the line against the Horsemen for Beasty. The military numbers for MarineLord are dropping in this engagement, but the Knight line just barely falling apart here. The Red Palace able to hold on that southern side, and now Beasty gets himself a bit of a respite. Look at the villager count. Crackety, look at the villager count. There's a chance here that MarineLord runs out of steam.
Yeah, these raids every now and then underneath the TC there where the food economy from MarineLord is just doing so much damage. Now MarineLord does of course still have that keg and a ton of production. They're coming in time and time again. But Beasty, he has bought himself a critical amount of time, and now there it is, Winston. We're getting adjustable crossbars in as well as the greased axles upgrade. So now these Mangonauts, once those upgrades come in, they're going to be extra fierce when it comes to damage they can put out. First couple of trebuchets now also coming in here from MarineLord.
Big raid.
Well, that's a big raid on the gold vein.
But MarineLord is going to see that and take his opportunity to dive in.
He doesn't see it though. He's going to lose a whole bunch of villagers here. Villagers that he can't really afford to lose. He's already very far behind on the economy count. Army is maneuvering now over to this direction as well, but that's a lot of economy lost now. MarineLord on 63 eco units. In turn though, he is building up more and more of a military force. 126 military units plus change with the siege.
Yeah, but how much of that is horsemen? And that is now matching up against French horsemen as well, which BC has better upgrades across the board here. MarineLord still hasn't even finished. The blacksmith from the Imperial Age, the horsemen from the north have swept in and are now once again onto the economy of MarineLord. A little engagement in the center. The outpost taken out entirely now on that northern gold.
It's very expensive outpost with the bombard emplacements. Economy now on the food, completely idled out here. That's some interesting pathing going on there.
That one horseman has nowhere to go. The sheep are blocking him.
Yeah, it looks like there might have been a little bit of a movement command there going on, and that means that in turn, yeah, MarineLord, he's sending them away. He does realize now, does send them back over there. But it means a lot more idle time there still going on underneath his food economy.
Down to 60 villagers for MarineLord. How many of that are fishing boats, which at this point, the sea is largely fished out, right?
At least the fishing ships, like the deep sea fish always regenerates, but we're getting to the point, of course, where the overfishing just hurts you so much, and where the fishing ships just don't really work as effectively anymore. But this is a very, very large military mass here that is still working for MarineLord, and of course never underestimate the free units coming out from the Kaganet Palace.
It's a big mass, but look at the army value.
Yes.
BC still has more technically. We'll have to see how that plays in.
We're getting Rebaldicans as well, and that Rebaldicans is such a strong unit up against hand cannoneers as well, because hand cannons, they don't have the range. They have very low range, so the Rebaldicans actually destroy the front line before hand cannons can even get there.
The raid has nothing to hit. There's no villagers to find here. MarineLord has migrated his economy to the north. The horsemen taking a fight straight into the siege. There's not many knights to defend, but the horsemen have to retreat upon seeing just the sheer quantity of ranged units from Beasty in that defensive position.
MarineLord now up to 2 Nest of Bees, and these are Imperial Age upgrade Nest of Bees as well. They're not all at the front line yet, but definitely a strong siege force to have there for sure. Yeah, nonetheless, like Beasty, with all of these raids with the horsemen time and time again, just putting so much pressure on MarineLord, and he's still got so much gold in the guild hall.
Let's see if he remembers that. It can be hard to remember the guild hall. I mean,
he'll remember.
Of course, pros will. I mean, I'm just saying, it's possible to
sometimes you forget, sometimes
you forget, but yeah, something we are still building towards is this big central fight when the siege actually gets a chance to connect onto all that ranged mass of MarineLord. MarineLord still sort of just dancing in this middle ground, trying to avoid that confrontation altogether. Does find some vills on the raid in the south, could potentially go all the way to the farms there, but honestly, MarineLord hasn't really seemed to have an answer for these raids.
Yeah, the issue is, of course, as the Mongols, you don't get those walls. You are completely and utterly reliant on just outposts there and reacting to these raids with your own units. The issue with that is that only really works when you're actively trading with Mongols, because that's a way that you can get an infinite amount of stone in. And with that stone, you need those emplacements. And just not having that, not having the ability to get like infinite stone emplacements in there, it hurts so much.
Yeah, and we're seeing some raids here, but now it looks like MarineLord looking to maybe take Another bit of a fight on the north. Not quite sure. His trebuchets have been sent south. The food, once again, the target for Beasty here. I wonder how long until he just starts burning down the pastures when there's no defenses here.
Non-stop aggression. I mean, look at the amount of sheep just waiting there to be slaughtered. So even when the pastures run out, there's still a lot of food remaining there, of course.
Gold!
Time again!
Gold is going to get found again by Beasty.
Can't keep getting away with this, but he will, as all the villagers once again need to be pulled off. MarineLord, though, has the military force nearby to be able to stop this aggression from Beasty.
Oh, nice trap on a lot of these horsemen, but at this point, Beasty's economy, I don't think he really minds so much losing these horsemen. It's buying him a lot of time against the forces of MarineLord. Well, it lets him build up that intense siege mass, and of course, he did remember the guild hall. It was clicked a few minutes ago, but I mean, MarineLord's resources also aren't looking so bad here.
Yeah, but now with all of this gold, he's got even more siege in the queue, more Rebolcans, more Mangonels here as well, and that means that all of the... No way.
What happened?
No way.
What happened?
Did the game crash? Look at the reaction from the players here.
Hands in the air, heads shaking. What happened?
Man, Age of Empires 4, cruel mistress indeed. What is going to be the call here in this one? This is a tough situation to call, right? Like sometimes these kind of situations happen where the game just unfortunately crashes, and now what will happen? What's the call to be made here? Is this going to be a rematch 40 minutes into the game, of course?
I mean, I'm no tournament admin, but I'd say that's a hard one to say that anyone had a lead here.
It is. Now, in theory, of course, you got to take a look at it this way. Beasty, he managed to stabilize. He's got 3 relics. He did a ton of economy damage time and time again to MarineLord. He had a very strong army composition, just so much gold in there as well. Long term, it is so tough for MarineLord to come back in this one, but we are at a pro level at the end of the day, right? Like, it is possible for a player of MarineLord's caliber, for sure, to be able to come back in this one. And he did still have a very, very large military force there, of course.
Yeah, and we can see the players just deliberating there, or who knows what exactly they're saying, but I'm guessing it's not very positive right now. Probably a lot of frustration there from the side of Beasty, maybe particularly, because I think he felt that he was really starting to gain an advantage. I'm not sure, even with all the population in military that MarineLord had, I'm not sure MarineLord was going to win that next fight, especially with those Rebalds and Mangonels.
Yeah, just the crossbars. It is so tough, and there weren't even that many Nest of Beasts, right? Like 2 Nest of Beasts, 2 Nest of Beasts against like 7 adjustable crossbars, Mangonels. I'm going to say whatever the admin call is here, it is definitely going to be contested by the players. It is a rough situation to be in, of course, and we're going to have to wait and see what call is going to be made here by the admins. At the end of the day, we do have a lot of pro players here on site, and that is something that has been actively used before from the admins, trying to get the opinions in from the different players that are also actively watching the tournament as it's going on, of course, trying to gauge the situation of these players. Is this something that needs a rematch? Is that something where there were still chances for these players to come back in when they're in a situation where they are a little bit behind? And
I feel like, my personal opinion here, not a pro player, but my opinion, maybe that's a rematch. I know it was a long game, but
I'm going to say if it's a rematch, it is something where Beasty is not going to feel good about, right? Like, because in my opinion, Beasty was very far ahead now in this late stage situation, but it's still MarineLord. And he was able to react to these raids time and time again. Your Mongols with the Kaganet Palace, and with the Kaganet Palace, everything is possible, of course.
Really curious to see what the admins are going to say in this context, because, I mean, let's just think about it from the player's perspective, Crackety here.
Yeah. It's 40 minutes into the game. 40 minutes. Nerves are like just tense right now in this situation. You feel like maybe you're ahead. Then on the other hand side, the other player might feel, yeah, I'm not that behind though. I can still...
I mean, MarineLord's going to argue he had 4K gold.
Did he? Yeah, he does actually.
He had 4K gold. He's going to be like, I could keep going for a while. I mean, Beasty also had resources, right? I mean, they both had population.
It's the thing with late game, right? Like, both players were in a situation where they could both see themselves in a winning position.
Yeah, I mean, I think from our perspective, I would definitely say it seemed harder for Beasty to lose, I would say. Because I definitely saw the win condition for Beasty there.
Yeah.
I'm not sure he was necessarily going to get it in the next major confrontation, because up until that point, Beasty did not have the wins in many of the fights. He was exchanging. If you look at the army destroyed value in the middle of that game, MarineLord was miles ahead. And what reason would he have to believe that the next fight would go that much differently? I mean, we see the siege, and that's probably going to be the major game changer. But I don't know. It's tricky. This is such a tough call. Oh boy.
Yeah. All right.
Okay.
I believe. Yeah. There we go. We do have the call now. And after 40 minutes in game number 4, a back and forth between both players time and time again, it is going to be a remake after all. We are going to be going back over to Four Lakes with Mongols up against the French for a second time now.
Yeah, there's some devastating information packed into this remake. Not only because we were in the late game, so when the game ended, we talked about the late game, but a lot of the reason for the French here from Beasty was a very surprising early game, clearly pre-prepared build order, and that will now be known by MarineLord. I wonder if there's much that he can do against it, but we talked about potential for spears. That's not really in favor anymore as much.
Strategies being revealed on both sides, I want to say. So it's not like an immediate back and forth. Sure, like there was a little bit of a...
MarineLord just did the standard meta thing. I feel like the French, he made Mengadai as the opener. That's what everyone's been doing on Four Lakes with Mongols.
Yeah, that's
been the opening.
That's been the opening, but like that's not like that big of a giveaway.
He could change that now to do something that punishes the wheelbarrow. I guess Beasty could change, but now if he does change, is the French pick is valuable though, because it's the only reason it may have seemed good here was because of the way he played it. If he's forced to change it.
We're going to have to wait and see.
It's an interesting thing.
This isn't the first time that we've seen, of course, like rematches where like different iterations now come in after a remake because, of course, you do want to kind of like catch your opponent off guard. It's like, okay, my opponent's seen what I've been cooking, so maybe I just do a little bit of a twist there and move some things around. Maybe I pull more villagers over to a certain resource if I think that it's going to be denied very early on. Maybe MarineLord is going to try and go for a Dark Age rush now as a means, as you said, to harass the dock early on, maybe harass the gold, make it a little bit more difficult for Beasty. A lot of options here now as we are going to be approaching a remake.
You can see MarineLord there still talking away.
Yeah, it's a tough situation, of course, for both of these players right now. I think Beasty, in the mid-game, it really felt like MarineLord might have had him after that one large engagement there between those two woodlines, getting the surround in, really just destroying a lot of the military force there. It definitely felt like Beasty was on the back foot. Yeah. Then when you just burned down the keep, burning down all of those farms, definitely another situation where it felt like MarineLord was in full control. Beasty time and time again, though, with those raids. Also, of course, allowing MarineLord to get a very large army out on the field. It truly was still a very even game towards the end because Mongols, of course, they do still have the option of coming back. The Kagan pallets non-stop producing is definitely a very big factor in that as well. It's tough. It's definitely tough. It weighs on you a little bit, but now both players just theorizing, looking, going into themselves and just thinking, okay, how do I approach this now? What do I do? Do I do something different? Do I just do the same of what I just did earlier? Of course, this was not a fast remake. We were 40 minutes into that one. So it also just stresses the stamina a little bit of these two players as well.
Yeah, it's essentially, I mean, we're essentially adding another game. It's no longer a best of 7.
It's a best of 8.
Oddly enough, right? Jeez. Wow, yeah, that is a frustrated look, if I had to guess.
It's also a concentrated look, just thinking, okay, I got the maps in front of me. It's kind of tough to tell sometimes when, like, the monitor, of course, they are a little bit difficult to see from the angles, but also just very focused. I believe I saw the glimmer of the maps just being open.
Okay.
Probably also just looking ahead a little bit, looking ahead of the draft, thinking, okay, what am I going to do next up here? What are my options? And yeah, it looks like he's just looking at the draft here behind all of this, just thinking, okay, what's my strategy going to be like? And yeah, there we go. Game phase. Now on, we see the game bots being prepared here, headset about to be put on, and then both players are going to be jumping into the remake here of game number 4, Mongols up against French on Four Lakes. That is going to be coming up here in just a little bit. I believe, ladies and gentlemen, it might just be time here now for us to jump into that game number 4 in just a little bit. And heavy, heavy emotions for these players now. But ladies and gentlemen, there it is once again, taking the cinematic view here to 4 legs as we are jumping into the remake of game number 4 between MarineLord versus Beasty. It is going to be, of course, here on 4 legs. We do have Beasty in the color yellow playing as the French. His opponent is going to be Gentlemate's MarineLord playing as the Mongols in the color pink. We do have the opening here this time around. Wait, is that? We do see a little bit of a difference here. We do have a dock before the Uvu.
Yeah.
Beasty sticking to his gun, sticking to his previous game plan.
The build order is nearly identical here for Beasty, at least at this stage. We'll see if there's any early adaptations. We did see him use the deer, but only for a little bit. Basically, as soon as Feudal Age kicked in, I think he had evacuated the deer already anyways. Some differences in map could also be a pretty big, noticeable thing. There is no longer a forward woodline, and instead, that is replaced by the gold and stone of Beasty, both being on the front side of his base. This could prove a bit challenging for him, as he'll have to find a way to defend that. We did see the early investment in an outpost in the previous iteration of this game. As you all know, we are now in a restarted version due to a game issue. Oh man, tensions must be so high here, because you just know that it's actually just like a huge reset button on your mental. And in LAN events, let me tell you, in LAN events, the mental just, it becomes a monster of its own that you have to contend with. And when little hiccups like these happen, and you have to think for Beasty as well, in game, was it 2, where he just got no sheep, and then for this to happen, I could potentially see a case for a little bit of a mental spiral.
Yeah, of course, that is something that can always affect you, right? Like not finding a lot of sheep. He still made it a very competitive game. Probably one of, if not the most entertaining and competitive games that we've seen in that matchup in Age of Empires 4 history. Honestly, that landmark snipe, it was so close to coming to fruition, and honestly, I'm all here for it. Games like this is truly why Age of Empires 4 is, in my opinion, the RTS game to play on the market.
And let's take a look at any adaptation. I think the big question to me is MarineLord. I think BC's already kind of shown his hand, to us at least, that he's basically committed to the same thing. I'm really curious if MarineLord's going to just do the same thing. Maybe he just feels like he was in a winning position, and maybe if he had just dealt with the raids a little better, he could have won the game with the cognate timing in the first place.
Yeah, maybe. Second dock now coming in for both players here from the looks of it. And this is interesting because this time around Beasty is actually double docking his own pond on his side. So in the previous game he docked the second pond. This time not going to be opting for that, but will need to probably pull another villager, or does pull his scout in order to harass that Khan away as he is hitting his villager. And that's not something that you'd like to have happen there, because that villager, it can be going down rather quickly, you see, from those Khan arrow fire.
Yeah, something I want to ask you about, Crackety, is that early on in Castle Age, we saw MarineLord really skip out on units and go for a really fast imp. Like, we've seen cognate several times in this tournament from several players playing Mongols on this map, but it hadn't been quite as fast as what MarineLord did. And we saw Beasty make a big investment into Arbalest and then somewhat struggle to punish that. Do you think there's potential here that if we do get to a similar stage of the game, Beasty maybe invests all that into Knights instead and just looks to harass that gold, which has been so critical to the Mongols on this map?
Exactly. These are the different iterations that we might be getting now, as we are going to be playing a remake here after all. And it's these kind of changes which just means that this is an entirely new game. Of course, we do also see some early walls coming in from Beasty this time around, so we'll have an immediate answer to the Mangadai raids here.
Yeah, and I think this early wall, I mentioned this in the first game.
Yes,
I said he should probably really wall that to deal with the Mangadai, and we're seeing that choice being made this game even earlier. I really think this is the way to play it. I think this absolutely delays a lot of what the Mangadai can do. It's going to secure some more resources on the south as the players have switched position on the mini-map. And yeah, there's going to secure that gold down there. It's going to mean that MarineLord is going to have trouble harassing the dock as much. It could be MarineLord is forced to build a dock of his own, but with already 2 docks there from BC, it doesn't seem really likely that anything of interest is going to happen to that pond or even to that corner of the map for quite some time.
Yeah, he did just put up a second dock over on the other pond and already has a couple of fishing ships out there as well. So right now both players just very heavily investing into their own economy. No real early aggression play here, or no real play for any specific early aggression timings here. We do have the scout. Oh, the scout is really taking care of that villager, making sure that he's not getting harmed by the Khan, making sure he's not getting harmed by the wolf here.
I mean, that shows a lot of confidence in
Now he's
Beasty,
briefing him.
that he thinks that the MarineLord is just doing the exact same thing. Because Beasty's not scouting. A barracks.
An iteration. We do have a little bit of a difference going on here. We do see the Dark Age barracks coming in. Spearman double produce being queued up now as well. 6 villagers working on that school of cavalry, of course. Deerstones just being finished up. Means, though, that MarineLord is going to start falling behind in the economy count as he's not producing as many fishing ships anymore.
A big part about this is the walls, though, right? Beasty adding the walls in, and MarineLord just recognized and said, okay, well, Mangadai are going to struggle a lot more to deal anything meaningful here, so I'll just make some spearmen to be able to torch maybe that southernmost dock, and it's going to force at least an archer ship out, surely, right?
Most likely, and behind this we also see Beasty adding in an outpost on the stone mine. That is rather forward, also gathering another...
Oh, the outpost isn't being built very quickly. MarineLord gonna get in there with a couple villagers now. They do have wheelbarrow, so they could be peeled, pulling everybody to build it. The spearmen do split up their damage, meaning they're gonna be far less likely to get a villager kill here. If they had both been focusing something similar, it could have forced the situation to be slightly uglier for Beasty, but Beasty gonna be certainly happy with this. The scout, though, does get sniped, and that's huge. Beasty is now completely blind with these early knights on the way in.
He is a little bit blind, but at the same time, he's not, because he does have the walls on the sides, so any raids on the sides will be visible to him. He does have the docks on the ponds, that's a lot of line of sight as well, and of course the outpost at the front line of his base next to a gold vein is going to prime with a lot of vision, and he's the French. He's got the stable in already. Scout is going to be rebuilt.
Scout. Yeah, I mean, but that's not a knight, and the numbers for MarineLord are starting to add up, and he's added a stable of his own, so Horseman Spearman.
Or Keshik Spearman.
Oh, well, Keshik, yeah, that too. Keshik is probably more likely, indeed.
It makes a little sense, because when you think about how French mirrors, for example, have been played previously, it is that while typically French in most matchups loves to go for the army composition of archers and knights, when they're up against a mirror, it is actually more likely to be spearmen and knights.
Yeah, it's the one matchup in which it's no longer illegal to make spears.
Exactly. It is the get out of jail for free card.
Oh, if only we could say that about playing all mirrors.
Yeah, mirrors aren't too favored by the players in Age of Empires 4.
Oh, that's not a ship, and we do see Spearman gonna get... that's gonna kill that dock. There is another dock built on the southern part of that pond, so it's not gonna idle all the fishing boats. It will make things slightly less efficient. Unless the timing is going to be close here.
It is definitely going to be close, but he should be able to at least get it to burn, so Villager will need to be pulled. Knight is going to survive, at least for the time being. Is he actually going to be able to get it to burn? He should be. It's close. Get at least the 50 resources out of it.
The archer ship is out, forcing... Oh! Forcing MarineLord back already. The damage could have been a lot. The archers are out for Beasty. Only a few Royal Knights on the field, and it is indeed Keshik, but MarineLord already eyeing up that Castle Age behind this. The Night Raids from Beasty thoroughly denied by the Spearman defense from MarineLord. The villager count neck and neck, as is the military.
Yeah, both players are once again investing a lot into those ponds. A lot of the economy on the water there for them.
Which we've seen in both of these for all the players, especially Mongols though, but essentially everybody. It just means that defending the gold kind of becomes the most important part of the gameplay on the land.
You think both players are just a little bit annoyed at how long the last game was, and now they're playing a lot more aggressively here in the feudal age against each other, trying to get the game to a conclusion quicker?
There's a chance, I think, that MarineLord is rethinking, like, obviously this adaptation comes. I'm thinking he thought that the late game would be better for him. And maybe he's just like, I need to be further ahead.
Yeah.
For that play to work, right?
Ooh, engagement coming in.
This is certainly a way to do that. The archers a bit out of position. The Keshik hot on their heels. The spearmen going to run back into the woods, though.
Movement speed arrow just giving so much more additional movement speed to those spearmen means that it's very difficult for those archers to truly run away the entire time.
Take a look at the destroyed value. BC hasn't gotten a kill yet.
MarineLord, I think maybe there was some... He killed a couple of knights, didn't he?
Yeah.
With the spears.
I mean, but that doesn't feel good, especially when you're aware of that, because you know about your early kills. You know when you have none.
There just was even more destroyed value just being added. Maybe Beasty also cancelling a building that got hit previously. Yeah, I think he cancelled the dock and rebuilt it.
He has invested a lot into a bunch of upgrades here. Gonna have the sneaky dock. We'll see if MarineLord notices. He does indeed immediately queue up the defensive war junk.
The Gur griefing over on the step redoubt. A lot of drop-offs not going into the step redoubt at the moment. That's a me mistake right there.
Oh, interesting. Taking out the dock here could be really problematic. Okay, not going to do that. That could be a huge problem. Yeah, that could be a huge problem for MarineLord to defend this spawn. He has so many fish here.
Double dock drop here now as well.
The army from MarineLord is in position. The war junk going to get taken out relatively quickly with all the archer fire. Going to be forced to retreat. Beasty, though, built the dock, but didn't build any ships right away. And going for a galley, which is just going to get countered here.
For the time being at least, but without a second dock from MarineLord, he is definitely going to get outproduced rather quickly here. Villager does get picked off. That's the first villager of the game that has now been slain. Galley is out on the water. As you mentioned though, war junk already being there, but the age-up follow-up from Beasty now as well.
And Demo's queued up double demo, which means that war junk has no chance. So as long as the galley can stay alive, BC has a chance of really doing some critical damage to the water here.
Ooh. That's going to be the first one. Do have an archer ship there as well, though.
The archer ship is in position, could potentially protect the repairs coming in on from the fishing boats, but those fishing boats might go down when that next demo comes out.
There it is. MarineLord, is he paying attention? He's not paying attention.
Boom!
It does connect, taking down the Springle ship as well as two fishing ships with it as well. Now the Warcock out and about on the water.
MarineLord, no demo in queue. Now will queue one up, has his Keshik over here and Spearman to fight this. The army from Beasty has fully retreated, I believe. Yeah, it is fully retreated in order to protect itself while aging up.
But yeah, that's
so free reign to just burn the docks.
Yeah, just burn it down, because right now, of course, like, these aren't galleys. They don't do as much damage to unarmored units. And with so many units, the Springle ships, it's not the end of the world here for MarineLord. And there we go. Should be getting some more agency on water for himself now with this.
And a raid onto the main here from the Knights of Beasty. He is up several villagers, but MarineLord has a stronger army with army value.
Again.
And early access.
Beasty as well.
The splits from Beasty are enough to tank both the shots, but the galley should be able to clean it all up, just trying to take some final pot shots onto the fishing boats. Nothing too crazy here. Beasty going for some early monks to try and take the relics. Is he going to have map control for that long, though, against the army from MarineLord? Who is, well, MarineLord's, I guess the Cognate is the answer here for him.
Yeah, most definitely. Also has his own monastery. No shaman queued up yet, though, or rather a prayer tent. Beasty going for more upgrades. Okay, looks like he isn't going for the fast Imperial Age after all. Similar army composition to what we saw last time around, and I mean, he now knows MarineLord's plan, sort of. The only distinction really is that the military composition from him at the moment in this Castle Age is very different. A lot of crossbows he is pushing further forward in now.
I mean, Beasty has nothing to defend this. All of his knights have been killed raiding, and now Beasty's forced to fully retreat from this position. His production buildings, where the keep we're going to be, is going to get denied. The Keshiks charging onto a mainly archer force. The spearmen and the crossbows cutting in from behind. MarineLord has the resources to go in, but it might just not even be necessary as he takes a devastating fight in the face of Beasty, who is trying to get the relics right now.
And Beasty had his knights greedily out trying to burn down that dock, which he did manage to burn down, but in the end, losing so much economy inside of his base, getting so much idle time force, and losing the military. It is probably, it's surely not worth it. The archers are sniping down all of the spearmen, and the TC is doing a lot of damage here as well. And once the spearmen are gone, the knights that are going to be returning from MarineLord are going to have free reign onto the remaining units here, though there are still some crossbows alive. TC, though, taking them down, longbows, while the archers also take some shots at them. And MarineLord, both players losing the majority of their military, but Beasty hurting here economically after this.
The Knights have returned, and these are vet Knights now, so they should be able to clean up the Keshik at least at the TSC. Some units, though, are running deeper into the base of Beasty and could catch a lot of villagers off guard. 14 villagers have been killed, and now the Keshik's finding the gold villagers of Beasty. Beasty idling a lot of his economy. So is MarineLord, but MarineLord now up heavily on the economy, so much so that the Cognate Palace is still being placed. Despite that, MarineLord with the Mongols on 4 legs is a man with a plan, and he will not be stopped.
And this time around, it's a much better position for him to go for the age up. Military has just been exhausted on both player sides. Raids still coming in, is still causing a lot of idle time here on Beasty's side. Beasty still committing to the Horseman, still committing to the Arbaletria. But this feels like he just doesn't have enough now in order to really get damage in return. Sprinkle placement just in time to take down this knight.
Yeah, I mean, MarineLord did not lose too many vills to that. He already had lost 6, so just 1 going down there. Now the cleanup will be in for Beasty. Now his military is much stronger, but for how long? The Cognate Palace is about to churn out units. MarineLord has 300 gold in the bank, 500 now for some of these upgrades. If he's able to get just a few of these critical upgrades.
There's the Beast as well. Great one to get immediately. Palace Guards would have been better, or just
yeah,
cavalry.
It'll be okay. It's a fighting unit. It's not a hui-hui.
It could be worse.
Could be
it
a
could be
hui-hui.
warrior monks.
Or hui-hui.
Yeah.
Hui-hui would be fun.
Hui would be fun. Not for MarineLord, for sure.
For us.
Yeah.
And now the Knights are going to move out with the full army here of Beasty, looking to take out the gold.
MarineLord's just straight away going back into the composition of horsemen again. The
He has
choice.
the food. I mean,
He's got the food, yeah. It's just every time and time again, I wonder what like the ideal endgame army composition is for MarineLord, and it just keeps being horsemen.
yeah, I mean, but it worked to a degree for quite a while, especially while Beasty was down in age. And here we see the production still coming in. Elite Knights going to be the next thing for the Cognate. That is a potent pull.
Yeah.
That.
These units, of course, inheriting all of the Ruse unique upgrades, Boyer's Fortitude, as well as the Polex upgrade coming in immediately for them, plus 4 damage, as well as plus 25 HP on top of being elite up already, makes them very strong indeed. Beasty's got the gold for the age up, but the Guildhall has not quite accrued enough food yet for that. This time around, MarineLord also taking a lead when it comes to the relic count, currently sitting on 3 relics inside of his prayer tent. Upgrades coming in on the horseman. That is going to be the veterancy upgrade now coming in for them. So still a little ways to go until they are elited up. Until then, does have a source where he can spend his food in. And look at that, getting another nest of bees.
I mean, Beasty's eyeing up, I suppose, for another red palace, maybe on an 8K in the middle of the map like he did last game, but...
Did he redeem it? He redeemed it!
Yeah, and switched it to gold now for the long term, but where would this red palace go, and will it actually even go up? MarineLord's army has really had a lot of time.
Oh, never mind, right in the middle.
Right in the middle, MarineLord's army is super close by. Oh... Maybe there's going to be an opportunity here for MarineLord to spot this out and deny it fully, which could just immediately end the game. But Beasty's army is in position to defend. Beasty has collected both the sacred sites, which didn't last long, as it was immediately neutralized.
We've seen it last game as well with MarineLord just diving keeps relentlessly. That could be happening again. Beasty, though, is getting another of these docks destroyed. And once again, MarineLord, he only had that single dock there in that pond.
Yeah, MarineLord has a lot of his army down in the south side. The one benefit here could be he could burn the Guildhall, burn some other buildings, but it's going to mean a lot of time for Beasty to position for this next fight and potentially trap the army of MarineLord.
Burn the Guildhall is huge, though. Absolutely huge. It takes so many resources to rebuild that one. And yeah, this is a game now where MarineLord, he is looking to be in firm control, looking much stronger than in the last iteration here.
Yeah, and
it's a very well-rounded army composition this time around from him.
Yeah, the addition of the Spearman, I think, has been critical from minute one. It's let him have the map control and the presence. It helped him deny the Knights way harder. Beasty was not really prepared. Biology on the way, of course, for MarineLord with this cav-heavy army. Denying this dock once again will keep a lot of the fishing idled out for MarineLord. They're not really doing anything just now, so that economy lead, not so strong, but we'll see how this next fight goes, because I think Beasty might just get a little surrounded here, right? Like,
yeah, biology is also now coming in for MarineLord. He's already got a lead up on those horsemen, so very strong units here from him. Also going to be burning down one of the docks here from Beasty, and the Nest of Bees taking some good shots up against the galley. I would have expected to almost kill it immediately in one volley.
It's going to be a lot of idle fishing now for Beasty as the players decide just to base trade for a minute and not take that direct engagement. We saw this a lot last game. And the first time MarineLord took that fight in Imp, he just absolutely walloped this army from Beasty. Heavy on the crossbows, heavy on the hand cannons and ranged units. But notably, Beasty didn't have enough frontline to actually protect his ranged mass. I wonder, is he going to once again commit heavily to these raids?
Nest of Bees could be getting taken down here by the cavalry inside of the base from MarineLord. They're trying to dive for it, not quite finding the connection, but there it is. Last hit comes in, taking that one down. And the Trebuchet next up on the chopping block. Repair is coming through, but not going to be enough. These Trebuchets from the Mongols, of course, being very squishy indeed. MarineLord, though, in the return, will get a lot of kills there on these Knights and Horsemen that Beasty had out on the map.
Yeah, Beasty still hasn't sent any units to the south to deal with those Horsemen. He's just opting to completely sacrifice this section of the game, and now kind of some question marks for Beasty here. How is he going to handle the next coming minutes, as it looks like MarineLord is getting ready to push out into the middle of the map. Of course, the Red Palace will be extremely hard to fight into, but 3 traction trebs should at least slowly tick away at it. And with the guild all down, Beasty's late game is looking a lot weaker.
Yeah, nothing to fall back to with that guild hole being destroyed. It's the bread and butter of the French late game, just having that infinite gold trickle that's coming in through there. There we go. Traction Trebuchet starting to get that damage in. One of the Knights here causing some harassment. We do have a couple of elite Mangudai courtesy of the Kaganet. Of course, trying to take that one down. Gonna take a while, and the Knight, in the meantime, is actually able to get a few more villager kills there as well.
And not too much occurring on the map right now. There's still some patrolling horsemen from MarineLord on that south side of the map, but the rest of this is just waiting. Beasty trying to find a moment here, but we're gonna see it. The horsemen firmly rejected by the spearmen there.
Yeah, and this is now a very tough situation for Beasty, and more raids coming in on the wood line again. Beasty does he have what it takes here in order to keep on, hold on in this one? Villagers getting taken down, they're getting sent back. Ooh, Siege Shelter Command not really working out there.
Yeah, this game is looking more and more dire by the minute for Beasty. He's down in vills, he's down in military. His army value is just slightly ahead, but I guess, is he really just banking on the hand cannon mass being enough to hold? There's going to be a second Nest of Bees soon.
Second Nest of Bees, 3 traction trebuchets. That's a lot of repair, a lot of wood being used here for repair, a lot of wood that Beasty does not have at the moment, as MarineLord idled him out on that wood line just in time there as well. Still, all of these fishing ships completely idle out here on water. MarineLord still has a lot of cavalry here, just making sure a dock is not getting replaced there anytime soon. And now the Repellers soon about to burn.
Beasty looks like he might be trying to move forward to take a fight, or at least position to be ready for one. MarineLord comfortably at 200 pop. Beasty at 150. Beasty with the hand cannons, though, ready to take this. The flank from the horsemen on the north from MarineLord. Beasty not even going to let MarineLord get the flank, and he just resigns from this one. The Nest of Bees firing on the remaining units. MarineLord comfortably winning game number 4.
I wouldn't say comfortably, but yeah, in the end, it definitely felt like that was a very much uphill battle from Beasty. Just the situation that we saw in this game around with the Imperial Age coming in from MarineLord after taking a great fight inside of Beasty's base. And it's just out of position, not there to be the buffer needed for those archers. And in the end, the follow-up afterwards just so much harassment on the sides from Beasty's army or rather his base, taking down the Guildhall. Just these essential key points that the French rely on in the late game in order to persevere up against the Mongols.
Yeah, and we're only in a best of 7, Grackety. I mean,
this is
now on match point.
Yeah, exactly. It's a rough spot, but we've seen Beasty do it time and time again before, right? Like coming back from a situation where you're behind points on the board. It is a rough one. It is a rough one. You're up against MarineLord, one of the best players in Age of Empires 4. It is certainly a rough situation here. We see the military value lead here in this last one. Mongols up against French, and Beasty in the last couple of minutes actually having a very strong army there to fight with. The issue is just like, even if he wins that fight, he cannot reproduce his army if both players trade out equally. A lot of economy just idle there, something that we don't really see there in the eco graph, as a lot of the fishing ships there on the bottom pond were not able to drop off any more of their fish there as well. And this means that MarineLord is now going to be on match point. One more win, and he can claim that sword for himself. But it is going to be Malia Ubits here. That's a good matchup for the Malians, because you have the Javelin Thrower that does bonus damage up against the Desert Raider. You've got Donzo's, one of the, if not the best spearmen in the game, up against the Camel Lancers. You can't be feeling too bad about this one if you're Beasty, and this is definitely a victory that he's going to need in this one now, as MarineLord, of course, is on that match point. Players are now loading, so it's not going to be much longer until we'll be jumping into our game number 5. Potential match point here for MarineLord, but Beasty on a comfort pick with the Malians here. Can he come back in this one, Winston?
I don't know. I mean, he looks focused and determined, but that has to the mental. I'm concerned for his mental in this moment. MarineLord just looks like he's so centered and focused, and I can just imagine Beasty being a bit frustrated here. But that is in the past. I'll have to look to the future.
There we go, jumping in here on the map. We're on regions, of course, and we're watching Gentlemates MarineLord here in the color pink, playing as the Ayubids. His opponent in the color yellow, it is going to be Beasty playing as the Malians. And this is Masters of Steel, top tier Age of Empires 4, being brought to you live here from Denmark, Copenhagen. Man, I am so looking forward to this one now. We've had top tier games all throughout here the entire time. And now it is time for Beasty to try and get some more points here on the board for himself, as MarineLord is, of course, sitting on match point. This is do or die, all or nothing. Beasty, he's got to bring the best and nothing less if he wants to win this one.
Yeah, and how fitting for the Malian king. If he's going to do it, it's going to be with the Malians, right?
It's the civilization to do it with, and some good scouting here early on. Look at that MarineLord trailing behind Beastyqt. For a change, it is actually going to be Beasty that is looking to be taking the majority of the sheep here early on, depending, of course, if he can now keep up with the scouting from MarineLord and, you know, do the correct calls here when it comes to the scout pattern.
Yeah, Beasty's certainly going to be happier with that than he was in game number 2 against the Roos, actually getting sheep this time. MarineLord, though, of course, as a berry civ, not going to be the most concerned with this, but, you know, it always matters. It always matters.
It does, and I think MarineLord, he probably just saw the scout there, a little bit of it at least. Yeah, he definitely sees the scout. He sees just how many sheep are behind that one. That is going to be a heavy hit for you as well. Just knowing that there are not like barely any more sheep available for you on the map at all that you can pick off, and we do see the economic wing growth being chosen here by MarineLord. It was for a second the culture wing with logistics, where you get 2 dervishes in for free. I'm wondering if that was just a misclick or whether he saw the amount of sheep that Beasty was herding behind his scout and thought, okay, I might need the additional food on my berry bushes.
Yeah, and then maybe even making a play for the berries way on the right side of this map. Regions, of course, spawns with resources in these distinct regions. We've got the berries on the far right, the gold and the stone in the center, and some hunt on the left. It is relevant, I guess, having growth. You also like the villager boost, but nothing too exciting from that outside of that, right? It'll be very straightforward. I would assume then that we'll see maybe some light play into Desert Raiders and maybe just an attempt to get to Castle Age as quickly as possible here from MarineLord and get into the devastating Camel Lancer compositions.
Yeah, MarineLord, he did a great job when it came to realizing the situation of trailing behind Beastyqt. He did cut ahead in front of him, so might be finding a couple of sheep behind Beasty's base now as well. Hopefully so at the very least. We are going to quickly take a look at his scout now to see just how many sheep are going to be following behind his. And there we go. Yeah, this is one of those situations with the sheep, of course, in Age of Empires 4, where all the sheep are within like one screen. Like there was 6 sheep in the corner of Beasty's base there. If MarineLord hadn't found them, that would have been very, very dooming for him. But having found them, there has to be like that little bit of relief going in, right? Like suddenly going from 2 to 8 sheep. You got to be feeling a lot more relaxed now.
Yeah, certainly a spicy situation is brewing on our hands, but players just getting their Dark Ages sorted. Feudal Age certainly... I really don't know how MarineLord wants to play Feudal Age at this point against Malians, because generally Civs that are good against Malians try to pressure the pit mine early. The Ubid's clearly not going to be doing that here, right? And so
not the best
some Desert Raiders into Javelins doesn't feel like a great way to harass the enemy. So it seems like I think it's just going to be a few Desert Raiders, make sure Beasty doesn't get away with making nothing, and maybe, Donso.
I mean, that's a solid
way to deal with the Desert Raider as well. You get the occasional spear throw to zone them away from the pit mine. But, I mean, that does give the Desert Raiders a bit more leeway than 2 Javelins would. But not the biggest deal, I suppose.
It's much easier to invest in them. And also, of course, MarineLord with the stable has the ability to go into Horseman as well. We do see the first Horseman coming in. Archer range now as a follow-up here as well. So the Donso play definitely making a lot of sense here for Beasty. Second gold is further forward for him, though actually even in front of his wood line. So definitely something that's going to be a little bit more difficult to protect here, but that's where Donso is going to be working excellently. MarineLord, though, already pumping in the archers. Looks like, as you mentioned, Winston, it is up to the Ayubids here, or rather to the opposing force up against the Malians to make something happen in this game.
Yeah, BC's going forward onto this really forward gold, and he doesn't have the defenses to really hold this. I mean, we talked about how it might be difficult for MarineLord to find damage, but it seems like BC's offering it up on a silver platter here with just a few units to defend. The Donso will repel the Horseman for a moment, but with 2 archers on the field, it's going to have to be a hasty retreat, I think, from this position, and that should all get burned down with a bit of time.
Beasty does spot out the archers, though, so will have that intel going for himself. And
we're building a range.
Yeah, needs that one up as soon as possible here. I like the play onto the cattle ranch here as well, as he saw the Ager from his opponent. He knows, okay, my opponent has 3 more villagers than I do, so getting 2-3 cattle into a cattle ranch is going to help him keep up economically there as well. Donso's now posing out there a little bit, might be able to throw the occasional javelin there, even at the archers, as they do have an additional range on them. And look at that, that's actually pretty decent damage here every now and then, going out from those Donzos. And Beasty also active with the scouting, sees that MarineLord did move out onto the berries there. Second archer range now being added in by MarineLord. The Archer Lord truly being manifested yet again.
Yeah, he's heavily committing to this, but behind this Beasty just going to be, doing what Malians do best. Donso Jav is a very comfortable composition for them to make with his other pit mine firmly in the north corner of the map. It's not likely to be harassed anytime soon unless the Horsemen really make a swing over to there. And Donso Jav is a really static but effective way at protecting your early investments as the Malians. The Javelins just deal so well against these early archers, especially in these low numbers, and especially before any upgrades are rushed in by the Ubid player here from MarineLord. I think curious if Beasty might just keep feeling comfortable to commit to cows.
I think Beasty might have been a little bit unsure just how much MarineLord is investing into the Horsemen rather than the Archers, because he keeps making a lot of these Donzos, not as many Javelin throws. And we're starting to reach a point now where MarineLord, with this many Archers, could actually start poking against the Javelin throwers a little bit easier.
Here's a math question.
Ooh, the scout getting down.
How many Donzos does it take to one-shot an Archer?
How many Donzos does it take to one-shot an Archer? I believe...
The throw.
With the throw, I believe the answer... Okay, I'm not looking at the stats. Get those stats up.
Yeah, get away, Vodka. Our observer trying to help Crackety out here.
Should be, I want to say, 10 to 11.
I think 11. Well, we saw that.
I'm saying 10.
Saying 10? Okay.
How much health do I have? They got 70 health. How much was the damage? I didn't actually look. It's such a long list.
It's 7, I think.
It is 7. Okay, so it is 10. Okay.
10. So with 10 on the field, it's not
perfect.
that bad. As long as you're not losing a Danso for it.
And he's making more to make up for that, for the occasional loss.
Yeah, and MarineLord has been committing more into the horseman. But yeah, it's an interesting little facet there with the additional half a tile of range. Getting that little opportunity here and there. It's kind of cute. Little detail of Age of Empires 4 for you there.
Villager migration here now onto the outer food sources from MarineLord.
Big migration, but I guess right now the static composition of Beasty very unlikely to make its way across the map. So MarineLord feeling safe to build these big walls and just hold off that whole right side of the base. And he has no real pressure to wall that quickly. He probably has several minutes before Beasty makes his way across the map.
And Beasty on 6 cattle behind all of this is going to have some good additional food income. Definitely going to be enough here for him to be able to keep up with these 3 additional villagers that MarineLord has going for himself behind all of this.
17 archers, though, and we do know something about this. Once you start getting into...
Okay.
That's a massive wall. He really wants those berries. He went growth wing for
It's so worth it. You know that meme with like the dogs? Let's first look at it and see if it's worth it. Okay, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it. Yeah, and you know, once you start getting into the late feudal, I find Malians, like the micro burden really is on the javelin player to properly split their damage across the archers. You almost even have moments where it's not even super clear that the javelins are that hard of a counter. Obviously, it's a hard counter, but it does require fine control, and that should make the macro behind this and the micro and taking the fights just a little bit easier for MarineLord, at least in the coming minutes before the Castle Age upgrades really start to solidify the RPS.
It starts. We're getting to this point now where MarineLord will really want to start thinking about Castle Age before he takes any straight-up engagements, because archers, of course, in Castle Age, they start doing a lot better up against javelin throwers. With all upgrades, research in each separate age, in Castle Age, the archers do 50% more DPS against the javelin throwers than they do in Feudal Age. So the way this works out is that the best timing to start taking these fights is the early Castle Age when your upgrades come in, and that's also where MarineLord with the IBITs can get a really great timing in. Of course, Malians, they get bonuses when it comes to the research speed and the cost on their veterancy upgrades. Similarly, MarineLord, about to be hitting that Golden Age level 2, will also have the faster research speed going for him, meaning his upgrades are also going to be coming in faster. Beasty, it looks like he's also set for Castle Age as he's now fully investing into his cattle boom.
Not quite eyeing up the Castle Age, so MarineLord with the Ayubid's going to have a much faster time. I mean, Beasty's still a ways out from that Castle Age, even though the cattle will propel him there quickly and be really good for him once he gets there. It's going to be a little bit of time. The Javelin finally getting an opportunity to kill an archer. The Horseman, I mean, with all this positioning, it seems like MarineLord has somehow found a window to burn down some of the houses and force back the villagers that could have been on this mine earlier.
Yeah, but Beasty, I think he thoroughly misunderstood the assignment here when it comes to the army composition from MarineLord. We see Beasty having 22 Dunzos up against just 9 horsemen. Meanwhile, only 10 javelin throwers against over 30 archers.
And with Castle Age on the way, the relationship going to change a little bit, and even then, are we going to have to see an early switch into Sofa in Feudal Age just to hold? Potentially. Because, I mean, MarineLord's going to have upgrades really quick here.
Yeah.
And BC's not even close to clicking up.
There it is. Logistics coming in, so MarineLord also going to be getting those 3 dervishes, able to immediately take the relics. Now, Beasty did draw a wall at the top side of his base, but that wall does not include the relic.
Yeah, MarineLord now probably soon going to be moving out to the far east corner of this map with the Ayubid villagers trying to grab those berries boosted by the growth wing. And as he does so, it's going to mean his food economy, it won't quite match the full income of the Malians, but it's certainly going to be potent. Now, MarineLord just positioning around towards that left side, holding the central position of the map, just maintaining control without committing to engagements, as is such, it's so classic of MarineLord in this tournament so far, has been Archer mass, hold the center, don't take a bad fight, take good fights only. It seems so logical, but it is so hard to do so consistently and so well. MarineLord proving he's a top player, well, the top player maybe for this reason. He's come back into this tournament with a vengeance, with a hunger to prove that he will not lose 2 S tiers in a row. He's just in such a good position. Going up to Castle Age, Beasty still 600 food away. The numbers just don't look like they're adding up for Beasty in this moment.
He's got so much food income at the moment, just coming in from all of these cattle. Once he gets that age up, and it's going to be such a great position here for him. More houses being prepped. He knows that potentially he might lose that pit mine at the front side, as the ram is now also coming in. But being prepared for that, that is all that matters. Getting those houses in a little bit early. Single horseman is getting sent around, actually followed by a second horseman. And more horsemen being sent around the base.
Yeah, just poking and prodding, seeing. I mean, Beasty has shown that his army is going to be fully centralized and ready for that central engagement. And the horsemen even finding a casual Vil should be able to get the kill and even retreat, and they instantly die.
Good macro there from Beasty, focusing both of those down. The ram is now starting to poke at the pit mine here in the front side, but Grand Falani Corral should be getting finished up shortly here. And we talked about this, Winston. The veterancy upgrades for the Malians are going to be coming in incredibly fast. They should be finishing up at a similar timing compared to the upgrades here from MarineLord. We'll be able to take that pit mine down. Question is, how much further can he advance? And he does realize, okay, maybe this is not something that I can push in much further quite yet, so will fall back for the time being. But the Dervish is behind this, out and about on the field. First relic gets picked up and already moving close to pick up the relic that is on the side of Beasty's base, able to completely deny the relic game from Beasty.
Yeah, we'll have to see if and when MarineLord ever fully commits to a fight against these javelins that look so dangerous. Maybe he's just going to wait to maybe build a Manjanique or two, which could really turn the tide. He's already building up a huge mass of Camel Lancers. 7 more in queue means a firm commitment to this next upcoming fight. He wants to win it. He'll have the relic income behind it. This could start to look really dicey for Beasty potentially. The upgrades are coming in. Now Muso Fadi going to be the answer against Camel Lancers.
That would work. We're seeing archers coming in as well. Interesting army composition. Now Beasty does already have a lot of the Donzos, but against almost 50 archers, you got to be so careful. And Beasty, he's moving out a little bit too far maybe. The javelin throwers are starting to pick off some of the units here, but a lot of Camel Lance already out and about. The Donzos are going to have to help out there. Spears are being thrown now. This is a fight that maybe is getting taken a little bit too prematurely.
He's fully committing to the fight. The Spearmen taking an engagement against the archers. The Camel Lance are certainly going to mop this whole thing up. The javelins are just going to absolutely eat it afterwards. MarineLord is hungry for the win, and he is pushing into the throat of Beasty.
Yeah, the javelin throw is just getting picked apart now time and time again. These archers now doing much more damage. Camel Lance is still out and about, just picking them up time and time again here. They're sticking to the javelin throwers. More reinforcements coming in though. Beasty, food income still looking strong behind this. We're seeing more archers coming in. Veterancy in on them as well. Still, the Camel Lances at the front side, they're just not going down. 7 more in queue for MarineLord. He continues reinforcing the numbers here. Archer count starting to get a little bit lower. We're finally below that 30 count, but still so high up. Only 15 military units alive from Beasty at the moment. TC empty, not adding a lot of DPS in yet. Camel Lancers, some going down now at the front line.
Yeah, the wood line
back.
The economy has been fully evacuated, and now MarineLord forcing himself into the back of the base. The villagers on the gold forced back to garrison in the TC. Add some additional firepower to the forces of MarineLord. Beasty's economy is in shambles. MarineLord flooding units across the map. That line of pink continues to be more and more Camel Lancers. Now the wood line going to be completely exposed to the oncoming archers.
Here's Armor level 2 already researched, though these Camel Lancers not taking a lot of damage at all, and 2 more Camel Lancers just come in where 2 just fell. And this barracks, they're all on the left-hand side, so Beasty not able to bring those Donzos to the right-hand side of his base. Finally able to maybe buy himself, or rather get to that point where he's able to get a little bit more breathing room. MarineLord reinforcements not quite quick enough here, and Beasty lost a lot of units here, but the Camel Lancers once again, reinforcements more coming in. And MarineLord once again on the offensive here inside of the base of Beasty.
So many units. He's just plowing in for a second wind. The ram kind of behind this has been slowly dealing with that whole front side of the base. Just a single ram being all the siege he needs. A GG gets called. Beasty surrenders and MarineLord is victorious.
And that means that we have our victor, ladies and gentlemen, gentle mates, MarineLord winning the grand finals of the Masters of Steel tournament here in Denmark, Copenhagen.
Congratulations to the winner. The handshake between the two. MarineLord is soon to lift the trophy, and here it is, the shield in hand.
There we go. Our victor, your victor, gentlemates, MarineLord.
Look at the pose. Look at the stature. Oh, swinging it around a little bit haphazardly, but
don't poke an eye out with that one. There we go.
Steps into the light, and the winner, I don't want to say is crowned, but is knighted by the Masters of Steel Sword, sponsored by SteelSeries. What an incredible event. MarineLord, though, just putting on a show game after game, proving why he is considered the best of the best.
Oh man, what a series, dude. There were some amazing games here that will surely be going into Age of Empires history. I'm not sure if our audience can hear it right now, but MarineLord being applauded there in the back as he's being sent over to the rest of the audience, or rather the other players awaiting him.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly an impressive performance, able to by the thinnest of margins, winning game 2 against Beasty's, it seemed like unstoppable deli push.
Has to be the game of the tournament.
Yeah, and then very confidently, it seemed so clinical in game number 4, winning again with the Mongols. That seemed like it was a very dicey before the restart, and MarineLord came out showing he would adapt to the rematch and play that extremely well. Look at the power of the Anatan dwarfing MarineLord behind him. Looks a little scary from this angle. But yeah, MarineLord looking stoic as ever. Big grin from the winner.
Yeah, and here we have our production team as well and all the other people involved in this tournament. Ladies and gentlemen, these are your Masters of Steel.
Well, this is the Master of Steel. That is the Master of Steel, MarineLord. Oh, look at the smile. He's so happy.
He's got every right to be, right? Like, this was an amazing performance from him all throughout. We've got Wham next to him, Vortex as well, and of course Anatant being in there as well. And man, what an amazing tournament. What an amazing series all throughout. The sword being held high.
Yeah.
Congratulations, MarineLord. Winner of this S-tier tournament, LAN.
Incredible stuff. Man, MarineLord really, he looked pretty unstoppable. I mean, there were some series where he was taken to the final game, but even in a lot of those matches, like, there were games where they were close, and then there were just MarineLord stomps. Yeah. And so many of them being MarineLord stomps just proved to me, I mean, proved to everyone, proved to the tournament at least, he's still got it. You know, that loss against Louis in the last S-tier from EGC Summer,
he's recovered.
It's not enough, and, or sorry, it's not really enough for him to falter or even be any bit shaken by that. He is back on his, I don't know, it might seem like an eternal pedestal, Crackety.
Yeah, MarineLord, he's definitely one of those players that just seems unstoppable time and time again, proving that he is one of the most consistent S-tier tournament winners in Age of Empires 4, and really goes to show that just how high the bar is set when you want to take him on in Age of Empires 4 esports. But still, has to be said, Age of Empires 4 has never been as competitive as it has been in this tournament.
Yeah, and honestly, and there's even more to that. Like, I wonder, like, how many S-tiers does he win before it really becomes, you know, a lasting legacy, right, Crackety? Like, we've been at it for several years now, and MarineLord has been at the top for a while, and I'm not seeing too many signs of slowing. Of course, there was the Louis game, the Louis series a couple weeks ago, but
I think you got to win like 5 in a row to really cement the legacy.
Has he not done that yet?
No, he's not. Yeah,
he's not won 5 in a row. Oh, okay, well, we'll have to see in the next tournaments, and it looks like the analysts are ready, Wham and Myriad, ready with MarineLord for our winter's interview.
But don't trust me with electronics.
Well, thank you for sending them from all the way over there, and we are here with our winner, our Master of Steel, MarineLord.
Big congratulations, MarineLord. Hard-fought victory here for you. Tough tournament indeed. There were some very, very close matches, but in the end, you have triumphed over all odds here. How do you feel?
I feel great. Obviously, the remake was pretty sad, but it is what it is. Other than that, I think the first 3 games I played pretty bad, I think. And then I got my groove going. Ayubid's Malians. It may sound weird, but yeah, I practiced a lot with Anoton, and he showed me this Malian style. So I guess this is because of Anoton. And obviously my spawn was great, and I could roll, and it was amazing. But yeah, with this spawn I was like, okay, he's gonna play Malian Koboom, and I'm gonna kill him. So no, obviously like, yeah, I didn't play the best at the start, but eventually I played pretty well, I think.
I was wondering initially about that. We can go through the games one by one, right? There's quite a lot to unpack here, and it's always fantastic to pick the brain of someone like you, right, who really understands the game inside and out. So, I mean, it'll be a learning experience for everyone, but especially for me, right? I'm going to get some free coaching here, of course. Finally, eh? Game number one, right? Ottomans against Jushi on Arabia. I find this matchup quite interesting. It's somewhat unique. We don't see it too often, right? Jushi, one of those civs that has been dominant for a long time now. The power of pro scouts, thanks to the supervision, everything. It's something that's difficult to overcome. Is that were you quite worried about your odds going into the game straight away, knowing the strength? And Ottoman, they can have a slow setup time compared to the explosiveness of Jushi. Were you worried at all going in? Or?
Yeah, I was pretty worried, especially because the way I was drafting, I felt like I wanted to play HRE, Rus, and Ottoman on the 3 open map. And the fact that we get Ottoman Zushi means that he's gonna most likely snipe my Rus next, which is very worrying. The matchup is pretty hard. I think if Zushi doesn't make any mistake, and I think Beasty didn't make any, it's really hard to win. I made a few mistakes, and honestly, maybe with this wall, what I did at the start, maybe if I played a little bit more defensive and just played around the fact that eventually we'll run out of food, maybe there is a way, but that sounds very hard on paper. I don't know. The matchup is pretty hard, I think.
Yeah, just quite difficult timings because Jushi is just so quick, right? Whereas Ottoman is slow by comparison. So if you don't survive that initial day, it gets very tough, right?
Yeah, he has a sick economy. He can go for relics. And honestly, Beasty played well this one, so props to him.
Going into that Rus Delhi game on Coastal Cliffs, this is quite an interesting one because opinions seem to be very split on exactly who's favored. I know particularly Louis believes Delhi has quite a big advantage against Rus in particular. I think they're one of the more decent picks up against them, but I always was of the opinion that if Rus is played correctly, which I think you did very well, which is committing to that feudal and really contesting the sides, then they should have the slight edge with that earlier pro scouts. How did you feel going into this one?
I was feeling pretty bad. I think the matchup is Delhi favorite, just like Louis. I actually played this matchup against him, I think, in practice and against a few other people. Honestly, it's just really hard for Rus. You can win, and like there is a way. It's not like 100% to 0. I would say it's even like maybe slightly close. But the fact is, Rus is like your first pick pretty much, and Delhi is one of your last pick. So if you win this, it's amazing. I don't know. Like at the start, when he went away with his scouts to the other side of the map, I knew it was going to be very rough for him because, I mean, against Rus, you have to accept that Rus has more scouts than you. 3 scouts? No, 2 scouts this time.
We checked.
Yeah, 2 scouts this time. And that you're going to get destroyed on ship. But he wanted to get his half of the map, I guess. So he went south, and I saw him, and I just could take 3 quarters of the map, maybe even more. So I don't think he got many ship. But I think it was a slight mistake on his part. I think he could have gotten this quarter. Even if it's frustrating, right? You're going to lose the ship war, but it's Rus, so that's why Rus is so good too.
Do you think Rus is still as good as it used to be, or are people starting to figure it out now?
I mean, I disagree with some of them because, like Vortex was telling me Japanese beats Rus. I disagree fully. Zushi, I disagree too. I think Rus beats them, but it's pretty close. Rus beats HRE.
China?
No.
China.
Let's not go there. Not China. Everyone but China. But yeah, obviously they have some weird matchup like Delhi and Ayubid. Ayubid was not used too much in this tournament, but in practice it was I only lost once, and it was a throw in practice for like the last 2 weeks. And I was very happy about getting Ayubid every time, like 4th or 5th pick, because it was my highest Civ win rate, even ahead of Templar or Zushi or whatever.
What do you think makes Delhi favored in this matchup in particular? Is it specifically that sort of, the quick relic pickup and the pump in the feudal that's hard to keep up with, alongside the elephant archer combination in castle, or is there anything else that you think makes it good for Delhi in particular?
I think Rus is only good at one thing, and one thing only. It's pro scout into fast castle. So when you can play against other civs, you just defend your pro scouts, and then you're fine, and you go castle. But in this matchup, you're forced to attack. If you go castle, you're just gonna die. So you play into the strength of Delhi, I think, even though Delhi is not very good right now. And you play in your weakness. So Rus is not the best at that. I played so bad this game, man. I was so pissed at myself. I was really mad. Like so many fights I took where like it's not. It makes no sense, you know. Like I can't explain why I took those fights.
Yeah.
I was ahead in economy. I just had to wait, make a bigger army, and force him into me. And I was just trying to take fights to kill elephants, but I'm just stupid.
There is this saying, right, that outside of games, when we're watching games back, we're all better players as spectators than we are playing them, right? So it's hard to always know the best things to do during the game. But this game in particular, right, I think if there was a Game of the Year awards, this would definitely take the cake because, you know, you can say yourself, I'm sure, despite whatever grievances you might have with the way you played, it was a fantastic game to watch.
Yeah, it was very close. At the end, I wasn't sure if you had like 15 villagers left or like something. So I was like, maybe it's gonna be macro game. So the last moment I did like a tight barn, right? Because I had 5 relic. I was like, okay, that's gonna save me. But he left the game because he had no villagers left, I guess.
Actually 0, by the way. Yeah, it was pretty amazing. Yeah, it was
I
one
never
of those
mind
things.
Pascaya, man. I'm so stupid. Why do I put it there? I was like, I'm gonna protect my farm, but just put it behind, stupid fuck.
I thought you put it there to at least secure some of the wood line for yourself, right?
Yeah, like it makes sense, right? But at the same time, it's like his win condition is to kill me, and I have some. Like I can just make it behind and I'm gonna win, so I don't know. It makes no sense. This game was terrible for me, honestly. I don't feel like I really deserve to win.
Well, this was great for the viewers, right, at the end of the day, so that was good. Moving on to game number 3, Japanese versus Byzantines on Frisian marshes. The Byzantines pick from Beasty in particular took me by surprise. I mean, Byzantines, I'm sure you'd agree, is a very potent civilization, right? Very good against Colossus, but not one we see too often on Frisian. I mean, of course, you can get some olive oil from the fish, but normally Byzantine struggles with that early map control in particular. What I found interesting was the mind games that develop around Byzantines, around that possibility of Dark Age pressure, right? As we saw that, interestingly, you went for the dock opening here, and he went in anticipation of a Dark Age rush straight to the mill with the berries, and then went for Hippodrome, of course. Did you expect him to react in this way? Did you know that he might expect the spear rush, so you went for a more economic opener with the dock, or what was your mindset going in here?
Yeah, it's that, like I knew he would go for this build with Hippodrome and fast berries. And once you go fast berries, right, you cannot go for anything else because you already used your berries or harvested them. But honestly, like it was more like on the fly because I think this matchup is pretty broken for Byzantine. So I was just trying to find some way to win and to have an advantage. I feel like maybe I should have made like 2 or 3 docks actually in Dark Age and then Age up. Because, I mean, if you just look at the economy at the end, harvested resources, it's pretty tough. But I have map control and I have a better army because my army is pretty much always on Triumph, basically, because I get +3 attack. Yeah. And Ease can only use it once. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to mass horseman. He's not going to expect it. If he doesn't make spears, he's going to die. If he makes spears, I'm going to make archer. And just because of the quality of my army, I should eventually win. And then he really made a big mistake, obviously, on the berry.
Especially tough because he went for those longbows, right? Yeah. Do you think in this kind of a situation in particular, if he went for example, Keshiks, which we've seen Louis do before, right, with great effect up against Japan, I believe it was against Puppy Boy, if I'm not mistaken. If he did go for those Keshiks, for instance, who obviously benefit from the Triumph as well, right, then it becomes a bit more complicated, I would assume, right?
The problem with Keshik is always the same. Like you want Archer, obviously, because you're going to get spears against you. And if you start getting Archer, you're less on berries or on like olive oil, and then you have no more Keshik. So it's very weird, like the dynamic. So Keshik makes sense, right? But when you really think about it and try to play it, it's actually like you are slowing down yourself so much that it's maybe bad, I think.
Yeah, it's also the contract that, you know, it doesn't scale that well to leg game outside of the elephants later on, of course. What is soon to going to become an infamous game, I'm pretty sure, the Mongols against French on 4 legs, it's just very unfortunate, right? It's just one of those things that happens. It's a possibility in Age of Empires 4, and you know, none of the players are at fault, none of the admins are at fault, of course. It's just an unfortunate reality of the game. But the matchup in itself I find quite interesting, because in my mind, I think probably the reason Beasty picked this map, because he lost the previous one, right, is out of all civilizations that can probably kill Mongols and really punish them on 4 lakes for that classic fast in by now, French is probably one of the best choices, right?
Yeah, French is decent. I think IUBD is the best against Mongols, and then Templar, but they lost so much with Templar this tournament. They don't know how to play it. Templar is just so good. It should beat Mongol, but
I agree.
It's kind of close. So maybe, like for example, IUBD I think has a better matchup against Mongols than Templar, and Templar is obviously way better So French is decent. I would say the matchup is like maybe 40-60 for Mongols, like in the advantage of Mongols. But the first one I played so bad. And then, to be fair, like when we had the crash, I thought I was winning by quite a lot. And Beasty was thinking the same about, he believed he was winning. Then I talked to the player, they were like not really sure. And then I checked the replay and honestly, basically I have a win condition. He doesn't have any resources left on the map. And his win condition is that he has a massive army and he's going to do one push. But I'm sitting on like 50 villagers and I'm Mongols with like so much gold left and I can do so much stuff, right? So I think you have to remake, I guess. And then in the remake I actually focus and play better because this matchup is Mongol favored and I don't lose favored matchup. Otherwise, that's not good.
I was going to ask if Mongol is one of your comfort picks in this scenario or if you just picked it to take it away from Beasty.
Yeah, okay. So I was not sure what he wanted to play, but yeah, I wanted to take it away from him. And the fact, but basically the draft was weird. He believed his draft was so much better, and I believed mine was so much better. I still think it, but he got the good matchups with Rusdeli and everything, so it made it closer. But even the last two, I think House of Lancaster Archery, it's a matchup I worked pretty hard on, and I know how to play it, and I'm very confident I will win. And Templar game, obviously. Templar is pretty unfair on water, so I think I will get it too.
Yeah, and what I wanted to ask here as well is, in particular when it comes to getting to that Imperial stage with the Mongols, right?
Yeah.
In some cases they can be susceptible to dying, right? Against something like really powerful knights from the French, right? But French themselves in the late game are very potent with the guild hall and the discount from the influence, right? If they do manage to survive the initial threat of that Cargonet, there's a good chance that they can potentially win out in that post-imp, right?
For sure. Like full imp, I think if you secure your trade, French is 100% better. I mean, Mongols can trade too, but it's harder to defend. But if you don't have trade, I think Mongol, it's pretty hard to beat, right? Like they have so much money, you have so many towers. It's just hard to beat, I think. But yeah, it's pretty close in the late game, I would say.
Yeah, I'd say so as well. And finally, the game that decided it all here at Masters of Steel, Iobids against Malians, also not the most common of matchups, at least most typically, right? It's unique in that timing. Historically, I think Iobids, obviously Malians takes a while to set up with the cows and everything, and that's normally the way you have to go against Iobids. But Iobids have always been this very tempo, timing-orientated civ. They have some really oppressive timings that are boosted by the Rico, the fact they don't have to age up with villages, right? And the Golden Age is always a nice boost. From what I understand, and you mentioned so far, you're quite comfortable with Iobids in this matchup in particular. Would you say they're actually favored, or is it more even?
I think on almost any map it's favored for Malians, but on this one it's not favored for Malians. You just have to take the berry side. If you can wall, you wall. If you can tower, you tower. But basically you're just gonna make too many knights at Castle Age, and you cannot do anything. I think I was super confident about it. I worked on this matchup. And yeah, I knew exactly what to do.
So does it come down more so to the amount of units you can push out on this map? Or is it also more of a siege potential? Because the Manjanique can be especially annoying against something like the cows and the pit mines. Were you more reliant then on the units? Or were you also planning to go into siege quite soon after this, outside of just rams, but also Manjaniques potentially?
Only units. I made like 46 archer, and then I was like, okay, now my archer, I'm final. And I was like, okay, full on berries, no. So at the end I had maybe like 20 on gold and 40 on food. And I was like, okay, I'm putting on 5 stable. So it was just 5 knights at a time. And that's going to be the problem for Beasty. Like, Malians, they can't really outproduce you. And the quality of your army, just Archer Knight, in general, I would say, is the best army you can make right now in the game. It's just so easy to kill your opponent if he makes one mistake. And even if he doesn't make mistake, it's just so broken. Because if you connect your Archer close to the Donzo, and he cannot move back, then you can just charge in, and the Donzo are going to hit the Archer. So then they just die. I think it's very, very strong.
Definitely looked commanding there. And I think at some point Beasty also prepared for a little bit of a different composition from you. He over-invested in quite a lot of Donzos, not having a scout. I think running into that archer ball of yours must have surprised them.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and Mass Knight. I maybe never saw that because I saw it only once. It was, another, as I said, in practice, and he killed me. And I was like, what the fuck? I had a full Koboom, and my economy was worse than his. So I was like, oh, surprising, but Ayubi is super strong, I think.
Absolutely, and you know, it was a joy to watch the entire finals and be here at the event. It was obviously it's amazing to witness everyone in person and be here with everyone. Do you have any final words, any shout-outs you would like to do in particular that you want to mention here for us, or any final trash talk to anyone in particular, right? Anatan, maybe?
No, I don't trash talk Anatan. He helped me a lot. No, thanks everyone for practicing. I practiced pretty much with almost everyone this tournament, so it was nice to get some good quality practice. Thanks for everyone, Still Series 1-1, for organizing the event. Thanks for everyone for cheering for me or hating me. I like that too. And yeah, see you next time. It was great to have an offline event.